It does. There's our skins for the day. We don't really get that in other leagues anymore. We do here in the LPL. We also get this usual look at the various Nexus turrets. Statuary for your eyes. Let's crowds yell for a second or two, shall we?
欢迎来到英雄联盟。敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
So, yesterday, one of the complaints I had about JDG was lack of early priority. And then what the hell were you doing with your early games into not doing very much at all in general? So they had some okay defensive plays, managed to slide at Pays in particular, had some really good Lucian defensive moves to stop himself dying. But that wasn't winning the game, that wasn't using Lucian proactively, that wasn't doing anything good with it. They've got a little bit more proactivity, I think, here in this draft. But I do need to see them be a little bit less boring in the mid-game, Al, because it was boring stuff from them.
Oh, but the problem is, when I think about JDG's journey through this split, and sadly their slide down the standings from last split, of course they ended last split with a getting punted out of playoffs by WE, much like Top Esports, of course. WE took some great names in that last playoffs. JDG, when they've tried to not be boring, have sometimes just been poor at making those plays too. So it's a question of, you understand how they got to that point of being boring, because I wonder whether they lost confidence in making plays because they weren't working when they made them happen. Particularly, I think, of someone like Shun, actually, who I think has been trying to make aggressive plays and it's just not been working the way that it did on BLG.
If you want an example of that, there was a fantastic moment, I say fantastic, a really awful moment, where they went for a red buff invade with no lane player, got collapsed on and gave up 3 kills, and then didn't do anything ever after.
And that's the kind of thing which you sometimes could get away with if Shim's in BLG or something like that. Now, the problem is actually now BLG are doing very similar things too, actually. But they'll occasionally go for something like that as well. Team synergy, cohesion, question for a lot of our LPL teams. 20% of the LPL league players, some coaches, changed between Split 2 and Split 3 this year. 20%! 1 in 5 players. And of course some coaches in there too, changed across our region. Ridiculous if you think about that as a percentage, especially at that point in the year, because trying to scale up towards Worlds, stuff like that, it's the passive concerns that breathe, owie. It's a very dangerous time of the year to make those changes, but if you think, okay, well, this is definitely not working. Oh, bloody hell, that's close.
Healing pot.
I was thinking, okay, well, he'll take a chunk, he'll have to teleport back, and indeed he will do, but it got bloody close there. But yeah, that tale about cohesion, about changes across the whole league, it's not unique to JDG, but I think they're one of the foremost teams about that. So I was saying this just before you came in, they've just had their worst regular season results since 2021 summer. In 4 years, they've not seen such a low result. Finishing 6th here in this one. They are used to excellence. That silver lining has tarnished, though.
It really has. Tien now finding his way into mid lane. Scout going to try and get his way over. The command attack and dissonance will slow Tien down despite getting that pillar down. And with Shun on the top side of the river, we'll be able to find too much more than the chunk, but a chunk is found nonetheless.
So, yeah, that early game proactivity. We kind of wanted to see it here from Weibo, actually, this game, in some ways, right? I think that Weibo, they don't have the best ways to start fights as the game goes on. I would like to see them have strong laning phase. Obviously, Breathe, struggling with that into the Aurora matchup. Xiaoshu been dealing very well with Breathe by playing the Aurora into the Gwen so far. A matchup which some people have managed to use very effectively against the champion. Other people have somehow ended up getting solo killed and, you know, having the game run away from them.
Naming no names, obviously.
Yeah. I think when you look at JDG and you look at that top lane, that's where a lot of the hope has been found for JDG. I say that as they used to have a player called Hope. He's on anyone's legend now, folks. He's not here anymore. Hope is actually gone.
Hope is left.
Although, that being said, they replaced him with Ruler in 2023. That was pretty okay for them at that point. Yeah. I hear he was quite good at League of Legends, and JDG were quite good in 2023. No, potentially the best team of all time.
Genuinely pretty exceptional to watch. As Scout is going to throw out a thread volley there. Did have a Jarvan running towards Orianna, but Xiao, who's got phase rush and just gets to go wee. I assume that's what people do when they proc phase rush.
Weibo made World Finals in 2023 after changing coach and jungler just before summer. They changed yeah, they did, because they changed that caster in spring, and then in summer they changed that, yeah. That was in the 2-split system. In the 3-split system, of course, they did that in 24, and they made it to semi-finals for Starzan. came in as well. Oh, sorry, no, that was Wei coming in for Carson, not Tarzan in 23. It's Tarzan in 24. And yeah, and that's absolutely worth calling out. And there are some bonuses to making changes if you think that a team is unsalvageable and you think we've reached our peak. However, the problem is you're still taking a gamble. For every team like that, there is an FPX that's changed jungler a million times on us. An extreme example, that's why we're using it, you know, ad extremis. And so many teams like that. The LEC's having a similar problem right now. Dragon is being started, and it might actually get contested here.
Oh, yeah.
Shim's here in time.
Weaver's Wall comes on in, Hemper pulverized, Light now potentially in danger, has to flash over the wall before the trample can proc, and that just means a Dragon to JDG, good counter engage. The retake of the pit is solid, and they'll take the Dragon with it. Counter-Strike could use a thing or two about that one.
Yeah, trying to retake the pit. Weibo cannot. They should have brought themselves a better defuse kit. Xiaohu brought himself the travel size elixir of Wrath pretty much, so he's got some extra AP right now. Does he want the Shockwave Scout on the way back to lane? Shockwave Scout back to lane. I'm in the Sean Connery Scout. Scout just walked back on the Trillia, back into his mid lane. Sean is getting engaged on in the jungle.
Got a license to kill. He tries to flash away, and they keep on playing as Joel with the headbutt back towards Dean. Chris will heal himself. I don't quite know where he's going aside from being burned to his namesake. Between Worlds comes it out. Heroic charge away. Hang on. They've got to keep flashing. He just gets to walk a little bit longer until the threaded volley is directed correctly.
And it really doesn't help that Xiaohu put the ball onto him and whiffed the shockwave. The shockwave was whiffed in that play. While we were talking about the Sean Connery, the shockwave whiffed completely. And I don't know, JDG literally will die another day because they don't end up getting the shockwave onto them.
We've got Xiao Shu. We've got Xiao Hu. Can we have Xiao Connery?
Sean Connery.
Xiao Connery.
Oh god, if you hadn't guessed, folks, it has been a long regular split, and we are out of brain cells at this time. Like gonna be shoving it in the spot side. Xiao Shu does not have himself a flash or an ult. That could be quite detrimental to his health.
Anything little here looks like his chance of survival. Hang on, Stiffus presence times out. The TP comes on through, and they go, yeah, absolutely not. Run away.
No, he goes invisible, and Chris can't get the clean wall stun. Chris didn't have flash himself. Even without the flash and the ult, gets himself out to safety. Make sure he doesn't position next to the wall, importantly. Joel getting a combo onto Tien.
Gets a flash again just from walking at him. Awkward resets, and Weibo getting a little bit caught out in this early game, I have to say.
Yeah, Weibo just going a little bit too far beyond their safe bounds. For now, of course, it's just the one kill, but that one kill has gone over onto Scout's Talia, and his Talia, I think, has been his most consistent pick. Consistency is something which Scout has very, very much struggled to have in this split. From someone that has been, you know, world-renowned for so much of his career, I think this has been Scout's worst year of his career. And I don't think it's been close. I don't think it's been close. Scout, he's had some off games, some off series before. Rarely has he had two off splits back to back, or I suppose in this sense like a spring and a summer, you know, the first two splits combined in such a poor way combined. I suppose you think towards last split, and actually he was a lot better until playoffs, and then he fell off. So there are some caveats there too, but seriously fallen off in a lot of ways. Grub's now started by JDG, holding position. Weibo again, they don't have the best ways to start fights. They can contest space pretty well with that shockwave. You see one Grub go away, and they'll likely take the two others.
You know, chatting about Scout falling off, another player we were having those conversations about not so long ago was Xiaohu. There was a point last summer when we were saying, this is it, he's done. He's not going to be playing again. He was playing so poorly, and now on Weibo, again, I don't think he's at world-beating form. He's not best mid in the league kind of form, but he certainly looks a lot less of a liability than he did not so long ago.
Yeah, comment in chat. Convinced that Zeka broke Scout mentally at 2022 Worlds. Of course, they lost in that 5-game series in quarterfinals on the DRX run towards finals in their title. Is worth noting the entire team was ill during that quarterfinals. They had caught COVID, and that there is an asterisk there. I'm not going to deny, of course, it's a huge loss for them, and Scout, you know, beyond that point, he's not made it back to something like an MSI. He's been to Worlds in 23 and 24, bowed out in quarterfinals of both of those stages, and I wonder whether he'll make it even through into Worlds this time with the way that JDG are playing. The top 4 looks pretty locked, and both of these teams are not in that top 4. Interestingly, both of these teams have been to Worlds a bunch of times, obviously. JDG, when was the last time they missed Worlds? Well, last year, obviously. They missed it last year, but they've been to Worlds, you know, 22, 23, 24, yeah, in 22 and 23, of course. Been around for a long time now as a top LPL team. And Weibo, of course, made World Finals in 23, semi-finals in 24.
In the most Weibo fashion possible, and then just went absolutely giga into the finals, which was wonderful. Shockwave. Scout, potentially in danger here, has to try and bide his time as the seismic shove his side
Oh,
away
Shun!
from. There's a flash over the wall, and Shun with a wonderful counterpunch. The ambush predator is the deadliest.
Well, Sam, you were saying JDG, they were just a little bland, a little boring yesterday when they faced up against Weibo yesterday in their series. Looks like they've come with a little bit more firepower this time. Shun, his Jarvan's been something he's been confident in for years now. It's been one of his better comfort picks. Of course, played it even in the World Finals. He was in last year on BLG. And, yeah, it gets a great play there. Flashing over the wall, Cataclysm, Flag Drag to follow. And now Xiao, who does not have Flash, which means that play is much easier to make the next time. Jarvan doesn't need that Flash to reach them. Xiao, who definitely does need to use it to get out of the Cataclysm mode.
Yeah, he very much does. And, like, look, yesterday we saw things like Wukong from Shun, a specialty pick of his. He's one of the very many big Wukong players we've had in the league for years, and was just permanently on defensive duty, triaging the map, triaging himself. Got nothing done. Was on something like, in a 40-minute game, 9,000 damage, something like that. Very, very low numbers. And it was just like, he struggled to find a way to connect with the game. Wasn't counterpunching correctly. Was having to run away defensively. Now we're seeing some good counterpunches. Yes, only a couple moves early on in the game. But hey, 1-0-1 in a relatively stable early game, JDG. Definitely better.
Every role is even or ahead. Dragon is spawning. Weibo, again, they can't force fights that easily. Really starting to see that problem with their comp right now. The Poppy, technically great defensively, technically not great offensively when you need them as your primary engage.
Sure, if you've got people coming into you, more to be done as Weibo, I suspect. A little bit harder, as he said, on the proactive front, unless you find the mother of all heroic charge shockwave combos, which we've already seen flubbed.
Well, oh god, that was a play of all time. Dragon being brute forced by JDG in terms of control of the spot side river. Assume they can go towards this again. And if you're walking up as Xiaohu now into a couple of extra wards, into some flanking threats, can just come dunk you. Weibo need to be very careful if they do want to contest. And I think with that in mind, actually, they say, look, lost control of the river. We're not going to try out anything here. Let's not walk into a losing fight. See, again, control of the river from JDG. Weibo need to be very careful about how they go into the spot river.
Very much do. Hayes and Jaw waiting here for someone to step forward, and Chris was thinking about it, went, no. I also want to know, on that Poppy skin, the animations for the hair braids bobbling around is very good. I really enjoy that.
Also, worth noting yesterday is Tien reaches his 700th game.
Congratulations.
A world champion, an LPL champion, very much a veteran face of the LPL now, 700 games. And yesterday, from what I was hearing, this guy was the face of that series, really. Regular season 10 was activated.
Yeah, he had a really good showing. He had some very good moments. That light 12 pretty solid. Time on the top side. Trying to buy some time is Xiao Shu, but unfortunately for them, there's a few too many needles, and the Ignite will do its work.
Weibo, they managed to find a play with the Poppy to give up the Dragon for this. 2 dragons over to JDG, but some gold towards Breathe, who... hang on a second, Shun, can you get there in time? Xiaohu a little far away. No, can't quite make the play there. Maybe you did need the flash for that play, I suppose. Well, how's the ults?
Heal, temper, pulverize, timed into the killer instinct. Very nice combo.
Clean stuff. We were saying, oh, well, maybe they needed the flash for Shun to ult. No, they don't. Xiaohu overstays a little too long in that side lane, and despite trying to run all the way back to base, Gore finds the play. Xiaohu goes down, and Weibo end up trading, I suppose, 1-for-1. Here's Tien coming out of the brush.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Poppy's just been spotted by Duo. Scout will flash, got a phase rush. He's maybe saved. Flash for the Chong, can't quite get the kill until the snips come on through, but now Breathe trapped under the turret will be going 1-for-1.
1-for-1. I don't even... Was that a shutdown? I'm not sure. 2-1 and 2 potentially. It was actually for Scout there, being so far ahead. Breathe now 700 gold ahead of Xiao Shu. Is going to be losing some farming time, though, because he died. Fantastic. Now Hayes, good damage on, so great pillar.
The pillar is wonderful. The barrier comes on down. Actually, now they get to walk towards this turret in mid. They've got a couple grubs, but Shun, even the 1v3 is scary enough to get value there. Xiaohu turns up top side, didn't end up burning the shockwave bot side because, of course, he went down and just finds a solo kill.
Damn, good solo kill. I wonder whether JDG thought that the shockwave was on cooldown because the animation started, but obviously it doesn't count as going on cooldown unless it actually starts to deal with damage. It's not the same as all ults. Some of them, it's if you die partway through the cast, it still goes on cooldown. Not Orianna. Yeah, I was going to say, just like clockwork, Weibo back in the game, because
that would have been quite good. Yeah,
quite good. I didn't think of that in time. Obviously,
can we hold on to that?
My clock's running a little slow, apparently. Yeah. We can hold on to that, Sam.
Yeah, well, no, you guys, you didn't hear it.
You didn't hear that. What? Did hear what?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the playing bot side again. both junglers hanging around the bot side of the map. Tien trying to find a quick pick out of fog of war. Good W onto the shutback from Scout, and he gets the phase rush active, which then of course makes it a little bit harder to chase down for this kill. It means that they do have to trade one back instead.
557 there, so it does look like it was indeed a shutdown. Towards the Herald we go, and JDG looking to right the wrongs of the last few moments. Support Weibo Gaming back within touching distance now. Only about 800 odd so gold towards Weibo, towards JDG. So very playable gold difference. Tien's got the ball on top of them. Finding out the Herald.
There you are. It's going to be a teleport for Shashu? No. They don't have their Aurora to bring to the play. Technically means this could be a 5v4 if Breathe wanders his way over. JDG, they leash the Herald and don't get that much done with it. Breathe has been hitting mid lane turret with 2 grubs. Of course, the Gwen E. And he's just going to take first turret in mid lane.
Yeah.
JDG, that's a bad objective setup. They walk towards the Herald. They don't get to secure it. Xiaoshu doesn't come up to the play. Doesn't have teleport either. And we were just saying that Weibo needed to be the one to play objectives better. That one's a bit of a gift to them.
And this is a bit reminiscent of what we saw yesterday. I hate to say it. We hit the mid game. Things have gone a bit wrong. Maybe things have fallen apart a little bit. And suddenly the map moves started looking a little bit slower, a little bit too predictable. And bluntly, they just started giving up way more than they needed to.
Now, means that the gold lead back to even. Falls into draw. Defending the vision line. Yes, good AD carry. You can do that too. It's not just the support's job. Weibo have the Herald now, and normally you chip the Herald into mid lane. Don't need to. Breathe killed that turret. I think it was very savvy of him to move up towards mid lane, threaten the fight, but also threaten the tower as well. Scout doesn't have flash. Does he feel like he's safe enough to walk up here? Yeah, he does. No one's gonna go and interrupt him this time. The Weibo, they have a Herald now to use on an side lane out of turret, which is not typically where we see them now.
Shu now trying to get his way towards a bit more relevancy again, has sort of let Breathe quietly get into this very scary spot. He's got 1,000 gold up now with that shutdown with that turret. The Rift Maker building towards the Nash's 2 seconds. Stella goes on to Shun. Shun will flag and drag out. And again, some of the invades yesterday from Shun and the bot lane were not it. We'll pull away from that one before it goes wrong this time around.
Especially because Dragon's spawning now. JDG, we said, look, your objective setup wasn't great around the Herald. This will get you third Dragon. That is, I really like the phrase that Finn used on LEC the other day. Third Dragon is a threat. Let's see if JDG can make that threat.
Certainly looking to ink it out right now. The missive is delivered. You're left about half HP. Herald summoned. Have we got a battle Herald, Alex?
Perhaps we do. I mean, doing that in front of a Talia is certainly a choice. Do they want to go to... No, they're just... Okay, that is a useless Herald. Come on, folks. It's going to go towards mid lane anyway. JDG not going to interrupt that for reasons. They just let it pass without even hitting the eye. Questionable plays!
Flash on it, but there's the Keeper's verdict. Crisp ends up dying anyway to the Acanthian Ray. What am I witnessing? Joe on the front line will trade out support for support. 2k HP into the Dragon Pit. Jarvan steals it. Cataclysm flash away. Tien low is Scout finds an angle over the wall. In comes the weirding to chug out a few more members, and they just back away. JDG gets away with it. Just
but Shockwave going up to Scout as well. He does have flash this time, and Light flashes away in turn. Don't ask me what I'm witnessing, folks. Feel like jumping forward again onto pay Shashu, looking for the shotgun, misses.
Snips come on down. Breathe with the Hallowed Mist, can keep on snipping, gets an extra auto, can't quite get in range despite the ghost rolling, and ends up getting a redemption, and
I don't know.
Soul point secured.
Yeah, through some black magic, Sam, through some voodoo. That was not normally League of Legends. Someone check him PC. It's not normal. All right, so initial play comes through. Poppy ult trying to shunt someone out of the play where they get engaged on someone else. All it ends up doing is, you know, CCing himself as he winds up that hammer thing. Duo does go down, so both supports go down, but you still have an extra engaged threat of the Jarvan if you need it to. Steals the Dragon. Ends up somehow getting out of the play using that flash too. Tien, not tanky. There's not really that much tank stats to steal on the other side of things with the subjugates, and it doesn't help him there. Weibo lose the Dragon, arguably lose the fight. Left a little bit with egg in the face.
Yeah, they do. They will turn up topside with a couple grubs and Trundle, who does have Trinity Force, so while he's not tanky right now, does bonk things real well.
Yeah, towers are #1 enemy. #1 op there. Oh, the ops are full of brickwork today. Yes, the ops. That's another op down.
Yes. In the op block jungle, equalize, no rumble.
Look at how useless Trundle is. The thing is, Trundle, when there's no engage on your team, feels a lot worse. Now, you can do stuff like Trundle Pillar into Shockwave, but yeah, Trundle has been incredibly good this split. Feels like this champion has been just ever present in all of our drafts, but doesn't mean he's infallible. He doesn't do everything. He's not going to be able to lead the engage himself, and right there, you see when you don't have tank stats to steal, he does lose a lot of value.
He does. Trundle. Keying in actually is Xiaoxiu. I was about to talk about Trundle. No point doing that right now as we are getting the Weaver's Wall coming on down. They're going to try and rush this. It's going down pretty damn fast actually.
That is Weibo. Can they find themselves away? And again, their engage is not good. They don't even have Orianna here. It's going to go down without them.
Need to try again. That's a decent keeper's verdict. He steals it. No, he doesn't. Good idea though. JDG secure that one just fine, and they'll be able to get back out of there just fine. I got a little bit lost in the play for a second. Excuse me.
The kill field was all blue. It's the blue team.
I got pace in the backside of Cathy Rain. Passive rolling auto. And breathes down.
Hayes is on a bit of a montage play here, jumping onto Tian, who is not. Tanky Cataclysm onto the Orianna as the fight continues.
JDG just turn on the afterburners. Pulled out of the flag and drag is shunned by the shockwave, but that's literally it. That's the one small win you get. Your Orianna doesn't die.
Yeah, and that is, yeah, it's not even a silver lining. It's, oh, Scout flashing forwards.
And he lands it.
Lands it, Xiao who goes down, and Orianna 1 and 3, 1.6k behind. Yesterday, JDG looked lifeless. I think it's Weibo's turn to do that now. Walking up to objectives, not knowing what to do about them. Get another kill under turret as Chris falls. Mid lane out of turret will be taken. Atakan was taken. They're on soul point. JDG, a much better game than yesterday.
It's a really good Atakan take. They burned through it so fast and just got no option to get in the triple knockup.
Triple knockups there. The Weaver's Wall stops them from entering as quickly as well, and then they're still in position to fight afterwards. You know, Hayes tags a W onto the mid blast cone. Gwen. Breathe can't even sidestep. He's stuck in the air. Self-CC'd by the blast cone, and Pace takes him down.
And the fight commences afterwards. They're trying to get on top of the Gromp, and Tien, as he said, he's just not tanky. He's just not. He's still only on those moon plates. He's not got a full dead max.
And it's not like there's an Ornn or a Scion or anything like that to steal stats from on the other side. Trundle, this is why we see Trundle picked with a tank as well, when you pick him with a Scion or an Ornn, because it means that he doesn't have to just solo frontline. Then Scout ends up getting the kill onto Xiao. He means there's no wave clear, opens up the mid lane turret. Strong series of play for JDG, and now they've got a potential soul point in a minute. The Elves just don't stop coming for Weibo. They've got to find a way to fight back.
75% on chance to win statistically. I think that might be underselling it a little bit, honestly. 30 seconds until Dragon. JDG are very much in command of the river right now.
75%. Well, you know, it accounts for a little bit of an LPL throw here or there. We have them. That being said, the Atakan's gone. I mean,
yeah,
so that's
the Intercon's not there.
Normally where we end up losing those kind of games. Weibo trying to brute force their way into the bot side of the map, but you see JDG, they're very happy to just occasionally, you know, threaten the engagement. Shun on the flank. Flag's there. Chance of, you know, the W's coming through from Hayes. Scout looking for things as well.
Greed comes. Chris goes to try and find a wall on the shockwave after it's solid enough, but over the wall goes Pace with the killer instinct. Now Breen is in danger. No Halibut to win it, and Gathian Reigns. It damn well pours, and the rainstorm will commence as Weibo Gaming get washed away. There's a Blade Runner reference in there for those who want to try hard enough, but right now the only blade being run is across Weibo's throats.
Yeah, the games today were delayed by a typhoon, but welcome to Hurricane Pays. 5-0-3. Mopping up these plays on the Kai'Sa. Dragon goes down. Infernal Soul and Weibo have been wind blasted away from the rift.
Hurricane, I think he's built Rage Blade second, mate.
Oh, yeah, but it's got... hey, I'm just saying, there's a Zeal in there. There is actually a Zeal. I looked
oh my god, you might be right.
I actually could be right, Sam. We shall see. Look, the Wall Stun does land onto Scout, but they get... what? That is the limit of their engagement. That's all they get. Come out onto the map. Trundle's dead again, by the way. Tiana has died a death.
Another passive. Pace gets another. And they back away. The TPs come rolling on through, but to what end? We've got Baron spawning in a minute. We've got Jungler down with no flashes and Trundle. How do you get into the pit now, especially if they steal the blast code? It's done.
I gotta call this out from Castle. Pays using WASD early on the... I don't know, man. This guy's gliding. This guy is really gliding. Let us know if you played on the WASD, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, I was always better at using that than I was at keyboard mouse and movement, because I was a huge Binding of Isaac player. So WASD is like my home ground, really. The Flash Fort. It did use the Flash Fort. God damn the damage. What's he get? Okay, now what is he gonna build as his third item? No, I found it.
It's not a hurricane, is it, Alex?
Okay, well, the winds have died down, and we have some spooky season instead. No longer a hurricane, a poltergeist instead.
You're like, I keep thinking about these series I should have won. The game ones, the game twos. Is it just a phantom series win?
Or that. Or it is Fate Stay Night, the noble phantom dancer.
Yeah.
The noble phantasm, yeah.
Exciting phantom dancer. Doesn't really work, Alf.
No, and also for anyone who has no context on that, to make it even worse, Sam, at least if you say Excalibur, you vaguely know what's happened with that.
Okay, well that wasn't the point, was it? It was a niche reference which I was pushing far too far. That was the whole idea, Alex.
We'll workshop it, Sam. Scouts will put it back onto the map.
The Unlimited Blade works?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, well, he's got himself a ton of different swords in inventory. JDG pushing out on the full court press now. Weber completely put into their own side of the map.
It's a really scary Aurora angle, I'm just saying. Across the bell, Light's in so much danger. Gets weirdinged. Twofold Hex, Spirit Abjuration is stacking. Light survives, but is not really a part of this play anymore. Has to run away as Weibo now forced to retreat back towards their base. Xiaoxu just threatening the mid lane. Tier 3.
Tried to flash for that kill, couldn't quite manage to get it. Uses the summoner. That Infernal Soul does a lot of work. He's just used his hop.
I think he might actually be dead here. He's going to get a bunny hop to, I guess, the grave, and goes down.
Yeah, needed to save something to get over the pillar. Was afraid of Tien walking forwards. Not afraid enough. Hayes does have the Infernal Soul and ult. If someone walks up too close, kills them very quick. We just saw them just before that. So there is going to be a kill onto Xiaoxu and none found for JDG on the other side. A bit of a failed play. Baron is available. Weibo, they are really just hoping that the game somehow extends to a freak Elder Steel. That's all they can hope for now. This game's so far out of their control.
Take a breath, folks. Look on your screen. You'll notice a giant purple monstrosity from the void that has somehow landed an ability, and I won't make any further comment. And we'll go and look at that being a serious part of what we do next, guillotine style.
I'm just saying, Dune did it better.
The Baron buffs must flow.
See, everyone starts stumping the rift, trying to summon Baron Nashor. As we see,
Throat singing.
what are they called again?
Saduka.
No, that's the worms themselves. Anyway, whatever.
Shai-Hulud.
See if they can find the golden path to victory. Flashes away from the engage of JDG.
Gonna try and find that. I was trying to do the noise when the Shai-Hulud comes up and they have the music from Hans Zimmer. Best I had. I think it ended up being more Wonder Woman than...
Yes. Yeah, it did, Sam. Yeah, it did. Weibo gonna get chased out of their own jungle now. JDG again trying to return back towards that giant
Weibo
worm
Gaming,
with the top
no!
What?
I'm making Wonder Woman references really
Oh,
badly.
right.
But we don't
yeah.
have Kyle playing, so I can't do.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I get it now, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm just like taking like a solid 5 seconds to get onto whatever track you're on right now. Baron was started to flick back onto the Trundle. Trundle's dead.
He is indeed. The train comes off whatever rails we were on, and they were looking a bit rickety to begin with.
Oh.
Nice big shove. And Chris will go down to the threaded volley afterwards. The redemption comes on through, but what are you redeeming? A dead corpse.
A little bit. JDG looking for revenge in this series. Does this matter for the standings? No. JDG and Weibo are locked into their positions. But perhaps a little bit of revenge, a little bit of confidence for JDG could be regained through another game like this. This one has been really, really solid. Baron secured. Elder will be up in probably, what, 2-3 minutes now at this point? In fact, there you go, just over a minute. JDG will reset, push out on the map, and Weibo, they are just hoping for a freak Elder Steel.
Again, considering how tepid JDG were yesterday, and that is the term. Uninspired early games, poor mid games, questionable objective setup, all of those things. Shun and Scout struggling to find angles. Scout in particular wasn't pretty. And just very uncoordinated. Today, this game, it's been much better from JDG, particularly that sequence around Atacon was very well done. And now they're in firm command to win this game. Yes, we've had issues with Weibo's draft, but on top of that, the play's also just been better for JDG today.
Weibo not even going to be given a long shot at this dragon. What JDG is going to do is likely hold 1 or 2 people in the bot side jungle, holding Weibo at arm's length, and everyone else is going to go towards the dragon itself for 30 seconds. And hang on a second. Okay, that is not the case, actually. Weibo have just killed the damn Aurora, and now they're in a 4v4. Oh my god, JDG, surely not. You've just lost an important member before the Baron. 5v4, Weibo still have ults available.
Light's starting to shoot a duel. There's a redemption coming on down, but he's nearly dead as well, actually. Second redemption to chunk him right back where he was beforehand, and you've just lost one member, and the other go down to 10%.
Light's got... I mean, this is all on Paze now, I think. Paze has to do the damage. He might be able to jump onto Light here. Elder has started. Weibo must finish this before the members come back. Alistair coming out of base. Xiaoxu's still dead.
Jing Dong just all over it. I think they might have done. Down to 7,000 HP.
Oh my god! It's going down to 5k. Is might come in for a steal from Shun.
Away. Wonderful keepers voted. That will be Elder now. Pays are going to try and run away. They get the bounty. Away from Gaming, pick off Xiaoshu, who's not had a great mid to late.
Oh, ridiculous. Look, Xiaoshu has been JDG's best player in the split. He has arguably been their worst player in this game, though. He's died a couple of times in unexpected positions, and Weibo get themselves a freak Elder in the late game. What happens? He's walking over the scuttle there. Just didn't expect the bush bait. It's a good old death bush. It's a good old death bush. He ends up trying to save himself with his ultimate. Gets caught by so much damage anyway. It doesn't matter that he hops back there. He would have probably died anyway. Goes down, and suddenly now Weibo have a couple of minutes of Elder to try and retake some stuff on the map. That is scary for JDG.
Again, it's still a Infernal Drag, had to count all these things, but that was not fantastic, I think it is fair to say. No Weibo, start a little wave down mid lane. She want to attempt flank angle to throw out the...
Hey, the flangle is a very relevant term that we've been using for many years of our career, Sam.
What about a flankant?
A flankant is when the flank does not become a flank and it just ends up becoming, you know, one part of the fight. Yeah,
well, what do you call multiple flangles? Like, are they flangles or flangolese?
Flangulation.
A flangulation. That sounds a little bit...
No,
dubious.
no, it's completely fine, Sam.
Is it?
It's an accepted scientific term. Thought you know this is a professional league caster.
Well, it's when you get all the lanes pushed, you know, by themselves. It's auto lane push flangulation.
What?
Don't worry about it.
That was just syllables, Sam. What are you talking about? That's not a term at all. Pays over the wall, looking for the Infernal Soul. Mind you, JDG do still have that Infernal Soul, and they'll have that for the rest of the game. The Elder's only here for another minute. See some decent damage coming through from Pace, but he doesn't have the AP upgrade for that continual poke.
Mine's telling him no. But his body also telling him no currently.
Yeah, Bree trying to get this tower down on the top side, get damage on, so of course has the grasp from the Gwen. It's a more common build. Takes off half their tower HP in one wave. Weibo will be able to take this tower and take some gold back. You're running out of ideas, Sam. You're out of creative juice since the flangulation.
No, I'm not really wanting to deal with flangulation anymore, Alex, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was thinking of fun things potentially to say, and I'm just not a very fun person at the moment, Al.
Just all do that for free. man gets up late as I've got up, and I've stove. You know how people used to, slave away at the stove and doing blah blah. I did that at the PC, getting the stream set up. I made my own coffee this morning. It's a horror show, folks. Sam's stomach is like, oh, I'm not feeling well. You got me ill, Sam. I'm ill as well now.
I woke up early and I went and to go clear my nasal cavities.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You're so welcome, chat.
Thanks, Sam. That's just disgusting.
Yeah, you
all right. Barrett is up in a minute. Elder is up in 3, so we have a desync in the major objectives. Elder has fallen off, so JDG are strictly the stronger team again. Xiaohu is at 32 minutes and doesn't have a third item. He doesn't have that death cap. He went for a tome instead of, I guess he just wanted immediate power for something. Didn't have the gold for the death cap itself. Light's gone for a bruisery build with the Shojin. Has a Hex Drinker as well, wanting to be a little bit less assassinatable. That's a word. It is a word now. Weibo, they're still fighting down from a ridiculous amount of power onto JDG. The Elder, even the playing field.
I think I'm just going to type that in all chat every time I play Evelyn now. Looking submissive and assassinatable every time I sort of see an carry.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I use this term for looking, weak side and diveable.
Yeah, weak side and diveable. Yeah.
See, that one works because that's actually something which you might arguably say in a game. All right, the special hat has come through for Xiao, who is now as well. Now he's earned that by getting to this point in the game. Congratulations, like getting a diploma. Breathe has that as well on the death cap on the Gwen, 2,000 gold up. Breathe on the Gwen can carry fights.
Yes.
End of the day, JDG don't have the biggest tanks themselves. Breathe is going to destroy this backline if it gets good enough angle. Flash away from Xiaohu. That's not a good summoner to be blowing.
I'm not running a podcast by J. Joe and Jadeson, and the end of the J have to be a cool concept that Marvel will steal from us at another time. River, though, is very much JDG's terrain right now. Jaw will headbutt pulverize into Breathe, who's very swift to the Hallow Miss, gets a bit of a chunk back. Shun threatening here on the other side. Will flag and drag. Breathe, who goes golden, but is already half HP. The double knockup. It's a travesty, and they lose their 2,000 gold lead. Remember, all the while, Payne to the backside is just gliding. It's a triple for Shun. He'll get the quadra. Pays takes his token kill, but it is still a solid old fight from this Jarvan.
Well, there was a jungle diff yesterday to Tien. Shun wants to even up the score. 2 series in 2 days between these teams. Does it matter to the standings? No, but it'll matter for pride, for confidence and momentum going into playoffs. JDG take game 1.
Nexus secure, JDG. It is night and day compared to yesterday. What? 24 hours?
A flanker. He'd be like a 6 or a 7.
I feel like Sivir's going to be a great winger.
Oh yeah, or a fullback.
Nah.
Catching everything.
Yeah, with the spell shield as well. Yeah, you can.
I'd say that also stuff on the wing as well. I'd argue something like a fast mage like a LeBlanc or an Ahri. Jump past the line, bit of CC themselves. Let's say there's gyros.
碾碎他们。
Well, we're back towards Binsmouth territory, so we get onto the roof for
Binsmouth?
Binsmouth, yeah, as we're going to get ready for the next set of...
Sam, that's quite South African.
I did end up going South African with it, it's true.
The way that I get into a South African accent, which is again very bad, I'm not saving you. I am saving you again. From
Quick shot, don't listen.
Cigarette.
Cigarette, that's a good one.
Do you want a cigarette?
It's all of your velvet things again, yeah, it's true. There we go.
Hang on a second, do I have to flash it early? It doesn't have the mounts up just ready yet. Again, 12-second cooldown early on. Good damage, Ransome.
Ruining our rugby talk. Alex.
Yeah.
Your ultimate spot kicker when you need it, last moment, you're looking for that drop kick, Ziggs.
Damn. Yeah, that's true. Damn. Wait. Isn't Poppy just like the best fly half ever?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Only
true.
person who just punt things that far. Oh, great stuff. Talia, yeah, just casting the wall across the field. Yep, so many things that
we just covered the League of Legends Blood Bowl. You realise that?
Oh my god, that'd be fantastic though. That'd be, but like, I would love that. For those of you who are Blood Bowl fans, basically just Warhammer but American football, hand egg. He'll put down on bot side. They're doing well at threatening them early.
The Winter's Bite does land there. Scout's getting mashed early on in this lane as well.
Yeah, must have dropped a minion or something. I just didn't get the Q up in time to kill the first bit of the next wave. If you're level 2 on that wave, it's okay, because you can stop Rise from DPS, and you must have not had access to that first minion of the second wave to help you out getting level 2. And now you've taken a huge chunk. You're going to have to recall a little earlier. Oh, of course, Cassante is like he's a prop. Cassante a prop, 100%.
Oh, I'd have him as back row.
Oh, that's true. Number 8, Cassante's the perfect back.
He's
number 8.
Insane number 8.
Yeah, he's like Talupe Falatau. Like that kind of vibe. You know, just like does everything, crash ball, offense, defense. Yeah, he's number 8. You're right.
I could see him as a centre too. Probably be pretty good at that one. But I feel like realistically, you probably want someone like Garen as a centre, just really straightforward crash ball it straight through.
He's your Jamie Roberts. Yeah.
And then you can maybe have someone like, I feel like someone like a LeBlanc would be an okay centre, a bit more tricksy.
Oh, like they'd be like your 13, your outside sense.
Exactly. And still got a bit of CC there if you land the good chains.
Again, for those of you who do not watch rugby at all,
none of this makes sense
to be pretty incomprehensible for a while, but it is pretty much the only traditional sport which I cared about long term.
Incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible. Incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible as Scout as he is on a dangerous journey towards their jungle.
Tien's got the route available, but he'd have to yeah, that Kiana. You don't think of them having that strong gank threat, but if you're low HP, you do, actually.
Yeah, well, no more prepositional Malifaux, and we'll look back towards the clear here. It's worth noting that Kianas who are good are clearing at 304 right now. Which is
what?
304. Oh, yeah.
That is insane.
So, again, we've been memeing about rugby, but I had this conversation last time we saw Kiana, but it's worth having this conversation again. The big thing that's changed for Kiana jungle is her level 1 attack speed with W has gone up by 10%. It was 5% at rank 1, it's now 15% at rank 1.
And this is something that was nerfed a number of years ago before she fell out of the jungle role. Kiana, basically when she holds an element on her W, she gains that attack speed and on-hit damage. It means that that's a lot of your jungle clear. Shield goes up and crisp. Not bad trading back from Pays, but you can see how valuable the Braum is already in laning phase, and that's only going to increase later on when, again, you've got a quad melee comp to play into later on. Shun is coming down, Hex Flash into the brush. Not surely going to be able to leave much for Shun to do that. JDG can't find much.
Worth noting the last time Kiana jungle was truly meta, Tien was probably one of the very best junglers in the world. He was arguably the best Kiana in the world. He was terrifying on this champion, so if that's back in meta, then I think Weibo Gaming might certainly have an extra ace in the hole.
That's a really good point. When he was on his Worlds run, it was it was Camille, and it was the Kiana. Now, I have to say, I think that jungle meta at that time was really unhealthy, and there is a reason. No, and I know you did, but the consensus is it was very unhealthy at that point, where Camille could just you know, fast clear through the Scuttle Crabs, which were broken at the time, same with
Yeah.
Kiana as well. And then they'd be stronger than anyone else on the map as soon as they hit Warrior and Trent. Because they had Conqueror, and this was the most broken form of Conqueror as well, which gave you so much healing through damage as well. They were the most powerful champions on the map. And it meant that you could play much more utility mid laners like Doomby did, of course. And you played towards jungle advantage instead. And it meant that the Kiana could carry your entire game. It was utterly absurd.
Very, very scary. And then we sort of saw some of the junglers who weren't picking it up in time really struggling to find answers to it. It didn't feel like there were too many. Olaf became the thing in the end that was doing a lot of work into it. Became very difficult for the Kiana to get past the Olaf because you couldn't CC him and he just won the
Yeah,
trades.
that's what Jankos did in the meta, because he was less good at stuff like the Kiana, but he was very good at the Olaf. In fact, actually, when they played against SKT
Indeed.
in 2019 in MSI and then at Worlds, the Olaf came out in a game of I think at Worlds to
Stymie Faker's Kiana. Indeed, it did.
yeah, damn, that was
Just
that was
sat
a
on the
time.
flank. Just basically Jankos the whole thing he did, which is find where Faker was and stand in front of him.
Mark him. Back to the sports analogy. Olaf, now he'd be a great censor.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
just unstoppable through the
So
censor.
true. I feel like
There
you
you
get a lot of red cards though. He doesn't necessarily
That he
see
would.
players very freely.
Looks like the clean feed is just stopped for now. We will hopefully get that back.
Okay, give it a second, guys. Wait for the audio. For it.
Tends to come back in a couple of seconds.
Look, we've got a pause in the passage of play. Injury assessment. Audio quiet yet. Wait for it. There it is. We're back.
There we go, and we're straight into a fight. That'll help us. Has anyone died in the meantime? No. We've got potential flashing forwards from scouts.
Shielded around, Taunt comes up through. Xiao trying to trade out well though with the spell. Flux Tien now coming up as well, looking for an angle. Goes sliding on forward with the audacity, the terror shape, the supreme display of talent. And Scout is left cracked and shattered on the floor.
First blood for Tien on a champion he's not picked up for a good long while. The Kiana jungle looks like it's back. Kanavi picking it up, Tien picking it up, and a first blood towards that nasty assassin in the jungle. That is a problem for JDG.
Breathe, we'll get to clear out this this wave. Well, I'm still a bit under the weather, guys. Some of the words are not quite correct. No Knight of the Frogs. I said he lies shattered on the floor. He's a statue. He's made of stone.
Very funny to say.
At least I hope that's what I said.
So this is what we missed in the initial play. Quick hit onto Crisp attempt, but you know the Galio ult doesn't really land flash forward. Not really leading to that much either. And then Tien manages to walk up, and of course the other thing about Kiana, you get movement speed when you're on the element that you're holding as well. Which meant we've got a little bit of extra ability to go forward to the move speed too, quicker to the play. Kiana has a lot of those random... She was one of those real over-designed champions at that point. We just get like a million random different things which kind of break the champion. Move speed when you're in a terrain which you hold the... you get to... Technically, by the way, you do get to stun people in river if you hold... even if you don't hit the wall with your ult, by the way, too. Just
very scary in the
There's
river,
a lot of minor things you forget about this champion. There's a reason why on the Chinese super servers and stuff you... There's one or two players of this champion which are utterly disgusting at the pick, and it still managed to retain their relevance despite it being not a very strong champion.
There's a lot of very, very fast combos you can pull off, basically. Prowler's Claw being removed kind of muted a few of them, but it's still very possible to do, particularly the kind of WQW combos where you get very fast shifts through.
Taken down. JDG, do they feel like they can contest? Pace does have flash and level 6. Perhaps the Zeri can, I don't know, season 10 all over them, or whatever it was. Season 22, that's the one.
He's got the frost, and that means his Edge of Ixtal will be doing quite a lot of damage. There's grub number 3. He did just have to be a bit wary as Tien was on the verge of having Supreme Display of Talent back up.
Kiana has 100% kill participation so far in this split of LPL.
Yeah.
Well, it's only been the second game of it, but
Yeah.
100% of the first game was played by Kanavi just earlier this week, and then this is the second one by Tien, looking for a steal, can cast that Q, and he'll be able to do so. I'm interested to see what his build is like as well, because Profane Hydra has been really, really buff, and that was always very good on Kiana. I wonder whether that'll be part of the build. Be very, very assassin-like. Last, of course, when you're in a lane, it's much more valuable to give you quick wave clears. Realm towards top side.
Raw stops his back, now Pays in danger, teleports come flying, good slide over the wall, the Supreme Display of Talent kind of goes a bit wide, but it doesn't matter. Ixtal impact is pretty damn hard.
Is it Ixtal's impact, or is it the Edge of
Ixtal?
Ixtal? The other one's the Skarner one.
Yep.
Anyway, it's the second kill on the 100% kill participation Kiana. The dream lives again.
Strictly, it's Elemental Wrath when she's got a Terror Shape element attached. There we go, towards the red buff we look. Jaw is going to have to reset, and they can't really defend.
Do you lie to us in chat? Was there a Kiana? Did you not check the kill participation of the first game, Marco? Profane Hydra buff is on 25-17. This is 25-16. Oh, good to know. I think we're on 17.
genuinely don't know.
We'll see. I'm going to take that up and we'll see what patch we're on there, because it does show. We put up... That's where you put your stuff most of the time. It's the most convenient place to put it.
Indeed.
Keep an eye on that one. But yeah, if it is going to be... It is the Eclipse first. All right. I have to say, Eclipse, very overrated item. Has been for a while. It's a feel-good item. I actually don't think it's that good right now. I'm not going to lie.
I don't remember what we saw in Kanavi. Was it Eclipse as well? I feel like it... No, he went for Ghost Blade. He went Lethality. He went Ghost Blade into Edge of Night. How he built it. And then Opportunity, I think, afterwards was the third option there. All the upfront burst. Also, importantly, went First Strike, whereas TN's gone Conqueror, so looking for a bit more of a extended trade patterns.
It's been played once or twice in LCP as well, by the way, which is, again... there was an Eclipse into Sundered Sky, which is what Citrus did, and then there was another one which was... Oh, Umbral Glaive. Yeah, that was kind of a thing. And Kanavi built, yeah, Ghost Blade, Edge of Night, and then the Opportunity as well, so much more lethality.
Also, that was with the First Strike build, so it really was about just getting that initial chunk and being really, really dangerous off Vision. Very tricky once Vision started disappearing. Base checking CC plus Kiana was generally a bad time for those involved. Yeah, now they're going to take the opportunity to nab this dragon. Around from there, Breathe charges back towards the top side and clears that wave out.
Going to slow down a little. Cull stacking for both AD carries. Light's a little bit behind on that because he bought it a little later, but it won't matter too much. It's going to give me a couple of wave differences. Once you go into the mid game, which we're starting to go into now, it's going to pick up a lot more of that farm level quickly if you want to on an AD carry. Most teams are very willing and able to do so. So JDG, the goal is to somehow pick off the Sivir or the Kiana very quickly with Ambessa Galio and just hope you can run through a fight. My worry for them is if you don't catch the Kiana, she ults you as you go into the 4-man units. Braum can do the similar kind of thing with the Glacial Fissure. And the team fight falls apart if you don't get a very clean pick at the start of the fight. So the goal for JDG is somehow get clean pick at the start of the fight with your ultimates and roll over with that advantage.
So, for JDG, they need to be aware that actually the game is slipping fairly significantly away from them. I'm not sure the scaling is as simple as just, oh, we've got Zeri this game either, because you are still into a Sivir and a Ryze, you're quad melee into Braum. Sure, you've got Galio and all these tools to go out. Hayes theoretically to do some gliding, and hey, he just came off a fantastic game one, even if he didn't get the MVP, that was Shun. But I am looking at this and going, okay, Hayes, you've got one cleanse, can you cleanse out? Braum stun. And Sion charging at you, and then Kiana shoving you into a wall, and Ryze Rune prisoning you. How much of a window is Pace really going to have? How much of an angle is he really going to have in these fights?
I kind of wish that the Kiana... I just saw a comment in chat and it's opened up my creative mind, which is not always there. You know, it's like Disco Elysium, we've got to level this stuff up. It's good trade there from I need a Kiana skin, which has... Sam, as confirmed by the Riot devs, that's actually all of them. They literally on Kiana.
No,
release,
really.
No, on Kiana release, he was like, "Yep, nope." People would you know be yeah, you know, because it's the whole Empress thing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the exact wording, but there was a dev that said that. It ain't me. But yeah, I need a skin which has like the colors from like the Sonic trio. Like Sonic Knuckles. And,
okay. Is this just so they can go fast?
Yeah, so they can go very, very fast. And you get like.
Does it play the Green Hill tone every time you kind of get?
That'd be fantastic. Do you just imagine Kiana going around with just yeah, I mean, she doesn't roll.
The ring can be one of the Sonic rings and makes the big ring noise every time you do something.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. We've thought it out there, folks. Sonic Kiana, you heard it here first. Wonderful.
Alrighty then. We are now watching Xiao, who has just been very quietly shoving very hard into Scout and having a good time in terms of keeping the priority in lane very hard early on. Been very good.
You're too slow. You're in the side lane. Oh man. Yeah. Breathe. They don't care as much. I mean, like, it's fine. You lose a little bit of gold towards Ambessa at points if she gets involved in some fights without you, but as long as you're not falling too far behind, Ambessa can't really do much to a Sion. You're never going to be able to stop a Sion from wave clearing. Neither of you really kill each other.
It's quite hard, yeah.
At best, you're forcing a summoner with the help of a jungler, really.
Yeah, it gets... Once junglers gets involved, it's a bit different because both of you bring quite a lot of C, gap close, you know, all those things where like you can then start playing it, but That's not quite the same as a 1v1. Tien's now found a solid angle, and that's a third kill.
Tien's starting to pop off, and again, this guy's got a history on the champion, and he's making it look pretty slick here. It's at 8. Good kill participation, 100% of the 3 kills that have come through. In fact, he could just not have a team. He'd still have the same scoreline as his team, 3-0, 1.5k up, and I'm getting worried for JDG. I don't think they have the best tools to shut down Qiyana and the Sivir in the same fight. Maybe one of them, but not both. And if you let go of that Sivir, I think things are really, really not looking good for you. You're going to have to deal with both of them. It's going to be
about the Rise, who's not exactly been a slowpoke this year in the LPL either. That could get dicey. I'm getting very worried indeed. And again, for a guy like Tien, who at points has just been the de facto best jungler in the league. We were having conversations when he was on Top Esports not so long ago going, hey, this guy's right back on it. And then we were chatting about the fact that he was always the person coming away with silver. Could not for the life of him find that solid victory in a league ever since his Worlds win. There was always those kind of memes and jokes about Tien being a choker and all of those stories. And then this year, just kind of been quiet. It's not like he's been bad. He's still been good, but he's been significantly away from being best jungler in the league. I think that has been Kanavi, that has been Tarzan. Even players like Monkey and some of these upstart junglers who've come up from the LDL have kind of been taking a place above him as he's just been there. This is a bit of a return to form and a reminder this guy genuinely has been and has got some serious hands.
Does. And there have been some matches last year where Tien did end up choking again, but I don't think that applied to... I think actually MSI was not his fault last year. I think Spring Finals was, but I don't think MSI was. Nope. I don't think Summer was his fault either. You know, I looked through the games which they were playing, and you know, obviously they're casting a lot of them back on the LPL official broadcast. Dragon goes down. I don't think necessarily Tien was the guy that was prime culprit for all of that top esports team.
The Jackie and Mako collapse in Summer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there were different members. You can go back and make your own judgments about exactly who it was, but I think there is, occasionally you need to redress some of these more common storylines, because while they're fun to say and they're very easy and memorable, and it's obviously, a lot of people go like, oh yeah, Tien doesn't even choke or whatever, because that's what the community has talked about for forever. You do occasionally need to sit back onto that. This year, it's not been Tien's year in terms of his individual forms being the highest, as you were saying, but I don't think necessarily he's been the problem for his teams either.
Exactly, because again, last year he probably was the best jungler in the league, and it wasn't his fault at the internationals, at the playoffs. He just played a good year of League of Legends. The problem is the end result was still not as dominant as he would have liked, and it's always a frustrating point. But hey, we know how good this guy can be. We know exactly how dangerous regular season Tien can be. Weibo in general have been a bit problematic.
We have a different build coming through, by the way. Crisp is going to get caught. Does he get... No, he has flash. He has exhaust. He's fine. If everyone would cast your eyes down to the Zeri inventory, by the way.
It's the Ambassador Fury build.
Pick this up. A huge couple of buffs are coming through for Hexplate recently, where I think you get something like 50% attack speed, 30% move speed on Hexplate. So Pays has gone towards the Hexplate. Jump on towards Tien.
Tien does about slide away, gets over the wall there with the Terror Shape and an Audacity. Is fine to get on out there. Will drop the Herald, and they've burned a fair amount to not kill the Qiyana.
Alright, so Tien doesn't even need to use that flash. That's a big win there for Weibo. JDG lose their big combo. Hang on, going on to him again.
In comes the hero's entrance. Tien, I think, is likely dead. Buys a bit of time, but will fall for it. Herald goes into mid lane, the skill that Turret Kiss goes on forwards, and finally will start to back away, but not before Shun Flash done and gets Rune Prison. And all the while, look at Xiaohu and Light still delivering so much damage. Light doing so many ricochet autos, and Scout has to slide away. Slow from a Rune Prison, not empowered by the spell flux, but Xiao still feels undaunted, unbothered. Xiao Shu tries to go in, and a flash away from Light is all the bait that is required for Weibo Gaming to turn around the play. Tien is happily avenged.
Yeah, ends for JDG in a flash of light. Weibo will win the fight 3-2, despite the fact that Tien goes down early. This is the problem that we highlighted before. Can you kill all of the major threats from Weibo? Well, the answer is no, not cleanly. Tien loses half his HP. They use one of the ultimates there. And then right here, they do end up peeling off the turret with Draw going towards them. They realize how much of a threat the Qiyana is, and it is a good engage onto them. You can't quite get the right ult angle, but you've not been able to kill off Light. Breathe hops into the Herald to get himself a bit of immunity from that too, and Light gets to go through so many Raum passives. It is such an issue trying to get through to this AD carry if you've used all of your ults onto a different target.
And Light's had a lot of criticism this clip. He really has. He's not been at the level we've sometimes asked him for so long. He was the stalwart, most consistent member of Weibo Gaming. This is a good fight from him. It's a good Sivir game so far. Again for Weibo Gaming, coming into playoffs shortly.
having some of these members like Tien and Light wake up a little bit. Good news for them. And hey, we've seen it before. Weibo Gaming turning on when playoffs turn up. Say it ain't so. Worlds is on the line.
Yeah, that's true. For a team which was all about, typically, Xiaohu, Emperor of Spring, blah, blah, blah. Well, turns out he's actually been better as the year's gone on, actually, in the last few years when he's been on his Weibo stint. By the way, a quick call outs to Shojin second for Tien. I really like to see a Death Stance for him, given the nature of this game where people want to blow him up immediately. I think if he gets Death Stance, he can survive through the combo, at least get a full combo off. And particularly with Conqueror, kind of AD Assassin junglers, it is such a broken item right now. Also helps your clear speed, by the way.
Very much.
Help with that. Atakan, gonna get started by Weibo. JDG going into a sign on this choke point is not particularly happy. Tien also has 3 ult angles too.
The Rune Question came on down. Turns out about halfway through the Hero's Entrance, they want 3 members. They still green display of talent. It's solid enough, but they've already lost so many people. Caught in there as Galio find an angle, but can Light do any work here? He's got no flash, but he's still got damage. Tien looking for more in the backside as well. He's not touched. Light still free firing. Tien will manage to terror shape forwards. Finally brought low, but he takes another with him. It's a triple kill to the AD carry.
5 for 4 is the score of the fight. JDG losing out by just 1 kill again, and Tien is so mobile in the backline, cleaning up plays as Light holds down the DPS factor in the fight. We said, look, it's going to be pretty hellish walking into this choke point with the Scion, with the potential of the Kiana ultimate. The Scion gets a good value here. You can see it's not a bad combo coming in from Draw and from Scout, but then there's I think a 4-man Supreme display of Karen coming through, at least 3-man coming through that, and Light is untouched. They don't manage to catch the Sivir. This time, it isn't just the Sivir that goes untouched, it's the Kiana too, and Kiana gets a ton of extended value through the fight.
Yeah, managing to slide along and bring down Shun, get so much work done, and eventually Shun just has to make sure that Light dies, so he flashes to make it happen. That flash is just the extended range from the Q. I'm thinking, how else does he get in range? Like, yeah, that Q extended auto range. Did its work in the end. Atakan remains up, lots of summoners and ultimates were blown, but we can go right back to the scene of the crime and maybe do it all over again.
JDG. How do they deal with all of these threats? No flash on the Sivir, which of course was a factor, not from the last fight, but the one before that. Dragon started now, where was saying, actually, it's much easier to just take the Dragon.
Yeah, it is.
Take that one, get themselves up to a second. Second is a warning, third is the threat. That's can't actually started. Light's gonna go towards that. Scouts can recall, teleport into the bot side of the map. JG find themselves another engage angle. They don't have themselves the support flash. Oh no, they do. Draw just gets himself his flash back now.
Atakan's gone. It's just been eviscerated. They've got so much damage between Shadow and Light. It's just taken in the blink of an eye. And now the win rate percentage has surely skyrocketed again. Maybe a little fight back. The team will throw down a big grass patch and say, get off my lawn. Oh, I will make you. Supreme display of talent. Not you, but there is the public execution. Heroes entrance. Rise in danger. Stands and delivers for a while. Light needs to run away as Shun threatens the backline, but will likely die for it. Supreme display of talent. Tien turns it all around. Decimating Smash Pace tries to run away, but the edge of Ixtal will still decapitate Zeri. Light again gets to dance around and survive. Breathe will body block for his AD carry. Pizza delivery as the Galio will try and find a shield, and Duranda does bring down Light, but will trade his life for it.
Tien is popping the hell off on the champion he won a world title with all those years ago. Tien on the Kiana has been nuts, continually providing extra CC, extra disruption, and so much extra damage in these fights. Particularly once he gets the Shojin stacked up. I know it's not an assassin build, but the actual DPS from the Kiana in a 1v1 with Conqueror and Shojin stacked is disgustingly strong. They choose a different ult target this time. It's the Rise, not the Sivir or the Kiana. I think they just try and look for a quick pick. I think if that's the case, though, they shouldn't chase this far. I think Shun makes maybe a bit of a mistake going on to the Sivir, and it's a huge ult again. It's the second 3-man ult in a row from Tien, who's got himself a GA third. Gets the play with the Q just at max range there. Gets to snipe onto Pays. Tien, very rarely we get to see jungle assassins like that anymore, but Tien, such a pleasure to see him back on them.
We worried a little bit about saying, yo, how much space is Zeri going to have to play? And the answer is none. Hit by the Supreme display of talent, cleanses away, gets hit by the decimating smash, tries to wall right away, terror shape into edge of Ixtal, still goes down. Like, it's so hard for the Zeri to get space or to just run away. There's so many threats coming from so many damn angles. Tien's actually gone for the GA third, is now building towards Cyril, where he is going to be very obnoxious. It was his 9-1-6.
Yeah. We just mentioned that GA before, which allows him to just play on that edge even more. You look at the Shojin with the extra HP, and the shields from the Eclipse. Trying to take down the Kiana cleanly is a pain in the ass now, and obviously he's gone defensive, but he's still doing damage. It's not like he's sacrificed a ton of damage for doing this. No, he's not going to one-shot you in the same kind of crazy TikTok Chinese kind of super server moments in the way that you would perhaps expect from other builds, but he's more than happy. A 4,000 gold lead over Shun. No, first game, Shun was better than Tian, but yesterday, Tian demolished Shun. So again here in game 1.
Ball comes
Game
up.
2.
Game 2 is where we're at. It feels in some ways a bit like game 1 because JDG woke up and went, wait, what? That feels unusual. They have been a little bit lackadaisical, but unfortunately JDG, despite actually some decent combos with the Gallywell, started to come a little late is the problem, and the Kiana took over too early, and now JDG are facing down the barrel of a Baron start. Glacial Fissure comes down, teleporting in, Pays trying to find an angle to get some orders in. Hasn't burned the Lightning Crash, so we'll still have that ultimate up and running should he require it.
Light using his own ult. Hang on a second, ult over the wall.
Quick execution to the taunt. Hero's entrance, supreme display of talent allows Xiaohu to bring down the Ambessa. Knock off onto Scout, who gets absolutely blasted as well. Sledgehammer to the statue's head in the form of Kiana's Q.
Well, Xiaoshu's tried to be primary engage, and he's found himself engaging into a 6-foot hole in the dirt. Goes down so easily on the Ambessa draw. Not having flash really hurts them. JDG, they have to pull the Magnet Storm defensively as Draw is going to try and hop over the wall.
Do just that. Pays standing and delivering best he can. It just doesn't do damage with this build. It gives you so much more cooldown. You can burn your ult more freely, but you aren't a damage carry until 3 items with this build, and it shows.
Oh, Xiaoshu tried to get that big engage, just couldn't quite manage to do so, and sadly for JDG, not really been able to land all of the kills onto the carries that they've needed. They've managed to get 1 kill in most of their fights. This last one was disaster for them because they couldn't even kill their first target. They ended up landing the ult onto Crisp instead of onto someone more important. JDG just not quite coordinated on the engage, and JDG, if they get brought to 3 against Weibo, but losing to Weibo twice in 2 days would be pretty galling for them. Realm Warp coming through.
A Realm Warp in, and unfortunately that is a very dead Wukong.
Monkey see, monkey don't. Shun goes down.
Oh, yeah.
1 and 4. Tian walking on to Pays. Pays, you don't win this, buddy.
Yeah, and just not even bothering to do anything until the wall ride comes on through. You can Spark Surge all you want, but TM will perish shape and auto you.
He's got more items than his laners. He's on 4 items. He's got more items than anyone else in the game. Folks, this is a world champion Kiana. Tian, a hell of a player of it, fighting the bot side. Our teammates coming down to help with the kill.
Don't know about that one. He'll try and ensure that Scout goes down. The redemption comes on through, but there's another one coming on top of him. He loses all the HP he just gained. Public execution involved by the statue. Nice angle to use the arm guard there. Tien is 3 levels up on his opposite number. The richest person in the game, bar none. And the highest level in the game as well. Welcome back 2019 and 2020 carry junglers. Tien knows how those ones work.
This is such a blueprint of how to play the Kiana. The early impact, actually very strong. The team fight's superb. Expecting nothing less from a woman of such high standards as Kiana. Tien meeting them handedly. 2 inhibitors down in the blink of an eye.
Finally dropped away from 100% KP a little while ago when he got caught off the one time he died. But still, 18 out of 20 kill involvement ain't bad. The display of talent is once again supreme. Pays just avoids getting taken out by the concussive blows. He's trying to find that going more, but he's just too short range. And Zeri will get flash EQ'd. And they'll lose the entire team. JDG just ran out of damage, ran out of options. And the Emperor says, you're all my subjects now. Kneel and bow before me. Weibo, take us to 3.
A jungle game of royal standards. Tien with his best game of the split and one of the best jungle games I have seen this year. There's a smile on the face.
Again, Cassante as your front line with Zyra Khan, Annie all holding zone control. Might not be the most fun for Weibo to get into. There is that angle. I do think that Yorick could be a bit dangerous on a side lane, but enough of us nattering. We've got Jaios to listen to. And for now, JDG being actually, interestingly, statistically getting quite a lot of favour there. I'm curious to why that ends up being the way. I think Silas not had the best win rate probably in the LPL, probably not helping. I've seen a lot of good Annie performances across the split, even if she doesn't tend to win lane, she ends up being so much good utility and to win a fair number of games.
And I think Annie's often been... Well, Annie's in a weird spot, because, like, she goes up against something like Aurora or Orianna, Lenny Case's match. She actually beats pretty much everything else. It's just that people have realized that they can give the Annie over if those matchups are in there. Now, for the Silas, people are talking about, well, okay, what about the Silas ults to steal? The quickness is the really big one.
Yeah.
That's actually a very nasty tool to take. The other things, less good, all out, not great value. In fact, I did a TikTok around MSI on how Shanks used a Silas ult to win a team fight. Cassandra ult to win a team fight against CFO. However, yeah, that's the big one. Occasionally an Ethereal can be pretty good close the distance. I don't know whether you can get the resale on that. I suppose you could be able to. Yeah, not the best one.
Shield from it on the second one, that could be very nice.
It's more about mainly just having a bit of follow-up CC. You're probably going towards something like Rod of Ages this game and being just really annoying to take off the table.
The idea, and again, you've got good people to pair up with as a sort of CC brawler with the Yorick, with the Skarner, Ward landing some stuns for you can do a lot there to threaten people. But I agree, it's not necessarily again where you're going, yeah, crazy ults to steal here with super obvious value. Alistair, for example.
Exactly, that is actually a lost condition. On the big one is Malphite. There was a post on Reddit the other day which was, what is the worst champion to blind pick in the game? Someone said Malphite, because then suddenly, if you first pick Malphite, there are 5 roles on the other team which could pick Silas and just end your game. Doesn't matter where it is, support, jungle, solo lanes, play it as an AD carry, sure. Silas will end your game. Shun walking towards topside, trying to get an early advantage. There, if this works out, that does tilt the top lane matchup quite a lot. Waiting for the Q3 to get stacked on the Cassandra. Flash away from the W. Not that much CC, but the Q3 will land for her, probably.
Q3 going to come on through, does land that. That allows for an easy eviscerate forward. Shun landing some of those darkened daggers will call the pack. Get an easy first blood there. Skips the whole quadrant to make it happen. With a wave in an awkward spot, Breeze tries to flash out, but just gets caught by the unusual jungle gank.
Weibo didn't have enough vision down. Didn't track where he was easily enough. Might have known he was starting on bot side. Didn't know when he was leaving top side. So Breeze died. Did have a Warden inventory. I'm not sure exactly when that came up. I presume it would have been available just before he died, but didn't track it right. Now suddenly, kill over towards that Neferi. A little bit of a problem there. Weibo. That being said, Tien quicker on the jungle clear because he didn't skip that camp, so we'll see whether he can pick up something. But then in mind, what he's going to do is he'll either look for something in mid lane. Telpa did just come in.
Yeah, I think there might be a really dangerous position as Scout gets a good chunk onto the Annie, but they can certainly look to drive him into a wall. Nice angle from Tien, waiting for the chain lash to come through, flash away. Scout just out of range, the Molten Shield speed. Darking Daggers too wide, flash on forward, can't land it. Body blocked by Shun's flash.
Shun flashed, Tien should have just flashed for an auto attack. Thought he could get it for free, can't manage to do so. Ends up getting, suppose, a double flash trade on both sides. Tien should have been an easy kill there. Great wall stun was the hard work. Should have just finished it off.
The Molten Shield, speed, and the Phase Rush all good enough to get Scout out to safety. Xiao, who of course does have his TP where Scout doesn't, and Scout was on about 5%, so it could end up being an awkward back timing for this Annie.
It could be, but Xiao, who has had to back anyway himself. All long reboot crystals coming in from him. Scout, as the wave push on this side right now, like Xiao will take a little bit of time to play through that. No AP in his build just yet, so he's a little bit less on that wave clear. Scout should be able to reset, come back in, has tier 1 boots, and the Molten Shield to speed him up a little bit. Shouldn't lose that much in mid-wave.
Very close mid-jungle 2v2. Wanna burn the flash, and Tien ends up being very well read there by Shun. It was a clutch flash to block that upheaval.
Yes, but also it shouldn't have...
It shouldn't have come to that,
just flash for the ult attack. Scout already flashed. You flash for that. You get that kill. Maybe he was afraid of the Molten Shield cooldown.
I think the shield and the phase rush might be just enough to get him out of range for a flash auto. I don't know. I need to go back and look to see whether he got far enough away.
He could have flashed an auto before the shield came in.
Right.
And also, I don't know if he had the phase rush active at that point. He would have had it either
earlier
at the
on
start of the play
trade,
or it was on cooldown. I don't think it would have come up midway through it. God is going to aggro dragon. No, he would harm that aggro did. I was thinking, why would you do that? Questions upon questions.
Really angry at the dragon.
When will this stream be in German? Nicht in der Nähe. Wait, that's not a great way to say it. Look, I don't know how to say not soon, but that's why. That's the problem. I don't know. If I could say not soon, then maybe it would be sooner than you think.
That's just a lot of damage on the Xiao. I think he's probably just dead here. Just get a little bit of healing and tries to clear out the wave, but can't do so. Breeze now in danger under this turret as Xiao's gone all out. Good kill there from JDG. Good collapse mid lane, and now Shun is the one with the early kills on the carry jungler.
He is, alright. So Shun, 2-0. Now, we have seen him get fed on the Neferi before, not always able to capitalize on it. Probably a little easier to do it this time, though. Doesn't have the level 6 to dive. Breathe is not that high HP, though. Xiaoshu Does have an all-out draw coming up as well. This is a dead Yorick if I've ever seen one.
Over comes Chris with a magical journey. Flash with the binding, goes wide. Kishore gets to battle dance out, and Chris tries to outplay it with the magical journey. Flash for the binding and couldn't find it.
Had the heal in there too, just not enough to see it through. And sadly, something like the Neferi dogs are very good at blocking the Bard Q as well. Really annoying hitting skill shots onto that. Occasionally you can bind them to the target behind them. Most of the time you just end up blocking it. Teleport now to the bottom side from the Rakan, trying to cross map. I do think JDG can outplay this though. Ezreal missing the Xayah.
No flash, no ghost, no ult. He's in danger. Light's gone flashing on forward, but Joe's body blocking again. All of the skill shots just don't land because bodies are in the way.
Weibo just not executing that well on the skirmishes early. Getting body blocked, not quite getting their angles. Weibo not getting a single kill from this early game. 3-0 down against JDG.
And gets the invade onto the red buff. Of course, it's going to force Pace to reset an awkward timer there. Only gets a long sword off that reset, whereas Light just gets to go back, pick up a Sheen, come back out onto the Rift and feel a bit happy about it. And again, Pace being down double summoners, theoretically punishable as the game goes on. But for now, it is Shun getting most of a quadrant there as a result of that little look in. Don't get the red buff still to Tien, who is kind of going to get punished realistically for making those aggressive moves bot side back to back.
Now Weibo, after they start falling behind here, you know, you can have a slightly later Rod of Ages completion from the Silence because they're down CS, lost some waves for those deaths. And yeah, now this Neferi can actually be a big issue potentially in the future. It needs to, of course, not get caught out by someone like an Impale later if you have the W to get through it. But Neferi can start chunking through things like the Yorick and the Skarner a little later, a little earlier into the game rather now. Gonna get towards that Shojin quite early.
So, eyes on the Rift right now. 2,000 gold each JDG. A lot of it, you'll note, is top lane, where Xiaoshu's up 1,000 gold right now on this
2 dives on the stack waves, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
He does have a flash. I don't know if it saves him.
I'm not sure he's going to bother burning well now. The dark possession is solid enough. Oh, and pulled back into it all out. Xiaoshu, that was clean.
Combos up with Scout, gets that point and click CC. Tien's still in the pit, does get one of the grubs. Another one's gone to JDG. Xiaoshu's coming back down. The Weibo think they can stick around? I guess they can, so they'll get themselves the 2 grubs, but this Yorick has been demolished. A couple of dives gone awry for Weibo, not been able to protect Breathe. They've not been there in position, particularly the first kill where they didn't spot out Shun due to poor jungle tracking. And Shun dropping camps to make that happen has really set him behind. This Yorick is completely dead in the water until he gets his 2 items. He's had to pick up a cult, which is bad news for a Yorick. Never wants to pull that through. You can see how poor he is at fighting through these early plays. He's so low XP and HP.
He tries to come over and support Tien, but actually Light isn't there yet. The timing's not quite right. Basically just tells me that Weibo didn't time their resets and stuff correctly for this, and Xiaoshu finds a wonderful angle. The Q3 to pull back into the Dark Procession to all out through the Dark Procession wall into the Fat Wall to go under turret and kill the Yorick. Oh, I mean, you can't ask for a better combo, really.
Dragon is alive to JD. Well, neither team's gone towards it early. It's been more about these topside plays. JDG, they've made it very clear that their goal is to shut down the Yorick, and that does make sense. I think that the Yorick has a very good time against their team eventually. Now that eventually is quite far in the distance, and I think the job's sort of done. The early game's been not bad today, I suppose, between Game 1 and Game 3. Game 2 was, of course, that was the bad one. Went 0-2 versus Weibo yesterday and didn't have much to really say about that. It was quite a bland series from what you were saying. And JDG struggled to mount much of a fight at all. It's been much better for them today, but still a little too late.
Not in time to compete for a spot above them. Weibo having won yesterday, get themselves that guaranteed. If JDG had won yesterday and then won today, we would be in a very different conversation. That's not the case. Jewel with the quickness rolling, can't quite get onto Light, but there's the Hound's Pursuit, but it's dragged a long way in the backline. The Impale comes onto 2, Breathe now over as well, but Tien desperately low with stolen quickness from Xiaohu, threatening multiple members, trying to get some decent healing back with the Kingstide. Damage goes on down, thank you, kill off the Neferi. Xiaohu just about alive, finally forced to Scout as Breathe. That's another morning miss, flash from Scout with the Disintegrate. Breathe trying to get some last ones, but again, this is a very anemic Yorick who, despite landing all of these Qs, just can't do damage. Pays, flashes in, gets caught in the Dark Procession, and Breathe ends up getting a lot of value there. Scout's also low. Light missing the Q, gets the auto, survives the Incinerate, but not for long. Crisp is going to try and kill out Joel gets through the magical journey and gets the Rakan. I think Weibo actually win that fight and will get the dragon as well.
Do they get 4 off of them.
They do.
Breathe ends up killing the dragon itself too, so we get some golden XP. I kept forgetting the last hit there. Weibo win the fight, and they close the gold advantage down to, I say close it down to 2,000. Still a pretty big gold advantage. We'll have to watch through all of this shit show again. You know, Dwarf doesn't manage to get the great engage. The ultimate's not really getting much. Shun well out of position. The Impale's not bad from Tien to buy some time. The Xiaohu does manage to get himself a good quickness through. Now, you normally think, well, you know, low HP on the Silas, low HP on the Ezreal. Surely, you know, you're running over this fight now. The actual re-engage from Weibo is not that strong unless it's Draw that can manage to do that. And they've now used everything. They've used the anti-flash. They've used the Rakan ultimate. The binding is clutch from first there too. And even though Light is really low HP and Breathe is really low HP, not that much to stop them auto-attacking you now, and somehow that's enough.
And again, pays flashes to find a good feather root angle. Burn has no more cooldowns. Can't feather pull again. He's autoing this. Yorick, who just doesn't care at that point, has steel caps, has managed to get a decent amount of gold from that play, gets a kill, gets a few assists. He's still a long way behind Xiaoshu, of course, but hey, anything for the Yorick at this point was valuable. They're still down 2 or so thousand gold, which is significant, but a much needed play. They get themselves the objective. In fact, they've got 2 marks towards the objectives. And Xiaohu gets thrown under the turret, and Scout being 3-1 and 2 is actually quite scary in this game, potentially.
Yeah, Light does have a call coming through, and he does have a 1,000 gold lead himself. Tien fighting for his own red buff secure.
Does get that one. I think, no, he doesn't. Shun with that smite did get that one. I do apologize. The Cosmic Binding was solid enough to deny a little bit of the engagement. Tien still going to have to flash out. 2-shot barrage goes wide, and I think JDG just blast Ken out to safety. Good invade.
Easy to get one there, and that's one of the things that you criticized yesterday, was that the invades were not actually that well coordinated with the rest of the team. Top lane advantage has still remained in Xiaoshu's favor. A little over 1,000 gold. Breathe on the other side did pick up a kill, and that last player's picked up some more CS. He's still 40 CS down. 120 to 80. That is disgusting. Full level down in terms of XP. The early game dies from JDG. Very, very impactful in Weibo. Bluntly not doing well enough to protect. There's Yorick on the side lane.
Worth noting, Scout's build here as well has gone towards the early lost chapter for Malignance, but has actually also got the Haunting Guys in there, so splitting the build a little bit, looking to use that early lead where he can, see whether that turns into a Leandries or whatever build it ends up being. We've seen things like Bloodlasher's Curse, Fourth on Annie's as well. Stolen Tibbers can say, I can join the tea party too. There's bear-on-bear violence, and Xiao is not winning this right now. Gets healed by a healing shrine, but still stunned up. Cosmic Binding across the Tibbers, and Scout will keep Xiao just about alive.
Will do. I mean, these solo lanes taking a beating. Light's the one with the lead. Does get rooted here. Shun can actually threaten him.
Hound's pursuit, flash away, driven under the turret. Damage back onto Shun is pretty good, but only takes the one turret shot. The Darking Daggers landing forces a bleed onto Light, so difficult to step on forward pace. Also very low. Burned his Ghost. Breathe gets pulled back with the Q3. There's an all-out angle. Can't get him through the wall, and Breathe gets to flash under the turret.
Tien, by the way, absolute hero playing that mid lane. I don't think Light even needed to flash. Drives him out of the ults as Tien onto Shun. Stops that ult from coming through. Very well played from him. Still 1,000 gold behind on the Skarner, but shows the utility of the champion defensively there. Light blowing his flash is a problem, though. JDG will... I think if they kill the Ezreal, they are
in an okay spot.
They're in a great spot after that point. You know, Breathe isn't really a team fight threat until realistically gets 2 items. You need that Triforce and you need the Shojin. You realistically need both of them. Now, Breathe is working towards getting that cull completed, but he's just been taking a beating up until that's completed. And then, of course, Xiao, who has the Rod of Ages completed, still 1,000 gold behind. It's not looking pretty for him either.
Breathe does have to force some 2 grubs here and demolish. He might be able to get a decent chunk here. Probably not much more than an auto or 2. And he's got to be a bit worried because Xiaoshu has flash. Potentially threaten Breathe, so he has to back away.
And there's no plates. There's no plates, so you can take a chunk out of it. It's not actually getting the gold until it finishes the whole thing. The wife comes out, the maiden. No, that's not actually the wife, by the way. The maiden's a weird thing in Yorick's skin. Obviously, Yorick's lore is something which a lot of people kind of just forget about. It's kind of like all the bad vibes of his soul kind of somehow put together from the mists into one, you know, malevolent orb thing.
It's the bit that Viego really wishes was still there.
No, I don't think so. I think that's actually most of the stuff that's in Gwen, actually. Because Gwen is like the other bits of the spirit.
I was going to make a joke about red flags.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it is being like, I go, well, whatever's wrong with this hodder, don't want to fix that.
It's like, I can fix it. I could do, but whatever's making them broken is actually making them alive.
It's the issue with the hot, crazy axe itself. It's actually, you know, one feeds into the other.
That's
They're not discreet. You
Let
know?
me just. I'm gonna have to vet your like future partners
It's
a lot harder. Like, Sam, you realize they had like 3 bladed objects on them. To have a metal detector on the door. Oh, okay, Xiaohu losing the trade up against Scat on the top side, but still collecting wave. That seems to be the way of things for these solo laners right now. Still behind over 2,000 gold on Weibo on the whole. Dragon has spawned. First one was taken by Weibo. Weibo really want to delay this until they manage to get themselves a little bit more staying power. You know, the culls have cashed in from both Breathe and Light. I don't think there was a cull onto any member of JDG, so Weibo get double kill cash in, which does mean that they managed to recoup some gold just through those items.
Yeah, again, it drops the gold lead top side by a few hundred. It extends Light, who is in a good spot this game. Needed to be fair. Xiaoxu, they're going to be able to pick up this first turret down here, and that would secure the strongest of feet. JDG, they've been going to the gym and doing feet exercise. I don't know what that would be.
Free?
Apparently, no, you need to
It's like toe curls or something, you know?
Yeah, they actually did need to get 3 kills and a turret. It wasn't for free. It came at cost.
Well, not for us. We're just not for them.
Yeah,
not for us.
It's true.
Yeah. How benevolent are they? Like, not in a second item just yet. Tink getting caught. If he gets rooted back here, that's a problem.
Yeah, does get stunned vaguely, but gets to back away. Down to about 20% HP, but is out safe enough. Nice back away from Chris. Needed to be. It's a magical journey up to safety, but has that left anyone on the top side alone? No, the reset did manage to come on through for Xiaohu.
Yeah, on the bottom side of the map, Breathe pushing in towards that turret. First tower had already been taken by JDG. They had themselves the pieces he was talking about before from various different things. Tower going towards Scout, getting him even more gold. Breathe had himself that Triforce now, but he's a full item down against Xiaoxu. They are cheaper items, it is worth noting, from the Xante compared to the Triforce, which is actually very, very expensive. And the Maiden is going to speed away. Is it going to be fast enough? No. Yes.
Maybe. Mid lane turret all the while was taken pretty damn low. Can't quite secure it as yet. Scout is so strong this game, by the way. He's got Malignance and is still holding on to that Haunting Guise and has got some stacks on the Dark Seal. Is very, very happy with the way this game has gone so far.
Worth noting about the 2-item thing, though. Light does have his 2 items stacking up. Once he gets that Muramana, that is like your God spike for the Ezreal. Then he'll go towards something like of course, the Shojin later on, which was kind of crazy.
I don't think I've ever heard about a 2-item spike on Ezreal.
Really?
I thought it was 24 Muramana. I don't
remember when
know
it was the 3-item spike when you had the double tier items. We had a Muramana and of course the
Seraphs, yeah.
Seraphs. That stuff was crazy. That was crazy.
Breathe back to shoving away. They did hold on to that mid lane tier 1. I think if they'd lost that as well as every single outer turret without trading back, the map would have been so over for Weibo. So holding on to that mid lane tier 1, at least for now, gives them something to anchor the map around.
Scout is so strong on his own too. And also the Annie's just pretty good versus the Yorick because he's so much point and click. He doesn't block any of your stuff. He's damage coming through. To say that, 1v1, that's fine. Teleport's coming in. He's currently in a 1v3.
Has to flash away, flash grand entrance, quickness, flash away for Chris, but the Impale comes on down on top of the Annie, trying to get some damage. The Scout is just surely dead, but the shields are good, but not good enough. Xiaoxu is teleported in, but there's a stolen quickness. A heal from Jaw buys some time. And the abscond, the abduct, Xiaohu trying to trade out, still got the quickness on top of him, yet to burn it. Throws out a chain lash and backs away, top of the screen. The jungle trading out with Tien. I keep saying that whenever I see the damn Skarner, baited by years of LPL-ness. Tien will be up people trying to chunk out. Juan misses that boulder, but the Rakan does get chunked. Maiden did fall as well as an additional little thing there for JDG, but Weibo are the one that get the kill, they get the shutdown, they get the turret.
They do, and it's a lot of gold going back onto this Yorick, who we thought was kind of just out of the game. Teleports came in through thick and fast. Scout was initially caught in a 1v3. Raw and the teleport comes through, but the Impale comes through, and he's used the flash already. They're kind of stuck into the plane end, and they get dragged into the Dark Procession as well. The Impale into the baby cage. Nasty stuff. Xiaohu takes a bit of a chunk on the way out, but largely the damage has been done. And what that does mean now is that Weibo have a fighting shot in terms of territory around the Atacama, which looks like it's getting started right now. There's a teleport coming into mid lane. JDG might be starting at Atacama though. Weibo occasionally do trade away from this. Breathe might try and get the mid lane out of turret. Is he going to roam down in time? He's going to try. He's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, he ended up taking a lot of the chunks there from the Atacama. Weibo now walking on forwards. Where is Skarner on your screen there? Top of it can look to steal this Herald summon. Battle out now. Xiao still with the quickness hijack. Good to get into the backside. I don't like it either. JDG, this is looking a lot like an Intercarn angle. Xiao tries to step on forward. Gets to Q3. Trying to all out his Tien. They have gone golden. And that means that the Atacama can be taken just about by Shun. But it did come down to a scary fight. Scout gets into the Herald. Battle heralds it. Fight is looking good now for JDG, who managed to finesse it well. Shun into the backside. Managed to get a hold of Light as Breathe on the wrong side of the rift. This ain't the right neighborhood. He's in the op block jungle. And ain't no rumble to equalize. They'll get a few more autos down as the feathers come flying. And Shun picks up another.
Yeah, breathes in the wrong postcode as the Herald takes Scout into exactly the right one where he wants to be. The Herald into the middle of the play, used as a battering ram into the backline, helps JDG sweep the fight. We're getting a little bit worried for them because they were tanking the Atakan. The Bardol ended up stopping the Atakan from being smoked down as well. And Xiaoshu didn't manage to drag the Skarner out of the play. I thought, well, okay, this is looking dangerous now. Your front line's not in great position. And yeah, then the smite comes down.
12:39, and he wasn't quite in time. Tien was in the right position to make it play, but it doesn't happen. Xiaohu got taken apart in the 2v1 by the bot side, and Light just gets run down. In comes Shun with the Hound's pursuit, and that's a dead old Ezreal.
Weibo, that's a big loss to them. If you were going to win this kind of series and that kind of game from the deficit you're on, a lot of it would come against an Atakan defense. You see the enemy team taking it, they tank it, you end up using a damage and the shred to make sure you can win the fight. They don't manage to do so. Now it's a 6,000 gold lead for JDG. Dragon is up, they can get themselves second one there. And Weibo, they're still waiting to hit, you know, big power spike on the Yorick. The Ezreal has it, but couldn't even win during that. And JDG have got themselves the lead they now to close this game.
I think probably so. Credit over to Crisp. Honestly, tried really hard in that play. That Temper Fate was about as clutch as you could get, trying to mess up the smite timings, but still isn't enough to get them that option. The petal count is actually relatively easy. It's been a relatively messy game, so a lot of petals to be collected, and Weibo not miles off that, at least on that front. And Breathe, going to try and get this turret topsides.
On the petal thing again, hang on a second. No, we might not have a chance for that side lane. He lands.
Oh my god, Scout got blasted. Xiaohu's probably in danger here, but over comes Crisp. Can look to find a Cosmic Binding. Xiaohu, though, with Annie in inventory, has got a redemption to keep himself safe, and they just don't have the damage. Xiaohu gets to back away.
Yeah, he's got enough HP just for now. They'll be able to take themselves an objective bounty on top side. Xiaohu very nearly dies. Tower aggro. I think the Tibbers ended up regaining that for him. Luckily got out alive, but close run stuff.
Calculated.
Take the kill, take the tower.
I'm wondering how he ended up that low. I was like, oh, he just took turret shots. Oops.
Yeah, I think the Tibbers was the thing which got the aggro back. Xiaohu then uses those to then get himself a Riftmaker, second item. So, alright, Silas somewhat online now. 2 items very big for him as well. Hullbreaker came a second, by the way, for Breeze, not going towards the Shojin. Hullbreaker, pretty good, and there's extended kind of plays. Of course, it doesn't give you the resist when you're away from allied champions now. It does you. So it gives you every 5th auto attack, does a crazy amount of extra damage onto either towers or champions. And it buffs up the resists of cannon minions. So still ends up buffing the wave near you a little bit. Not a crazy amount, but enough. It means that you still have somewhat of a split push identity, but is more of a team fight / individual item than it was before.
JDG, 4,000 gold up. Atakan, couple dragons. They should be in a pretty good spot this game, especially now Pei's got into his second item. You are just sort of seeing a few little look-ins from Weibo where you go, oh yeah, wait, if they can find the combo, this Silas can still be quite dangerous. Light is still pretty scary, even if actually that big gold lead he had individually has kind of shrunk with all the turrets that have come on down and that extra kill and the assist that Pei's got in that last play. But still, you are at least getting to the point where some of your champions can begin to do what they're supposed to do.
So no Dragon up soon, Baron up in 30 seconds. Weibo not in a position to play around it, but they might be in a position to punish JDG if they look towards it on the other side. That's basically what we're saying here. JDG, reminder, they got blasted by Weibo yesterday, so it's already a better series for them. I think Scouts had a better game than, say, you know, particularly game 2 in the series was bit bad from him, as Weibo did manage to run it back towards them. The Galio on Scout not really able to make that much of an impact. Got a better series than him than it has done some points in this split. We were saying, actually, this might be Scout's worst year in his career, perhaps. He's had a hell of a long history, breaking out away from the T1 organization in 2016. He was the understudy to Faker before that point, and then went on to be huge LPL amount of titles. Managed to get himself a world title as well in 2021. The kind of the crowning jewel of any pro player's career, if you can achieve it. Very rarely can you get that away from T1, given this recent era as well. But Scout's managed to do that for himself, but you know, despite the highs which he's had and the legendary path which he's carved for himself out here, some controversy about legal fees and all the rest of it left him in a bit of a worse spot. He's dived onto the bot side, blows the flash.
Let's get out safely, but does have to blow that summoner again. The Yorick doesn't really have that many tools to support him necessarily. People come roaming down. We saw Crisp try that on the second dive topside. Not quite on the timer. It was a nice idea from Crisp. You saw what the vision was, but the execution not quite there, and that's meant that Breathe, especially once he's been behind, has struggled to find space on the map to be really threatening despite having the grubs, despite being a Yorick. It's super easy. Be interested to see what that third item is. Got the Ruby Crystal and the Longsword. Probably going to be a tunneler item, so my imagination is a Shojin.
Yeah. I'd agree with that one. Shojin just on crazy amounts of base damage tends to do some nasty stuff. Peninsula Dragon now. Weibo have managed to slow things down a fair amount, and credit to them with that. We are getting to the point now where perhaps Breathe can fight back more against Xiaoshu. Xiaoshu, I think, over the course of this split, has been JDG's best player. Not been his best series today. We thought the Aurora earlier on was really not it.
No, it wasn't. Whether that will change here on the Cassante, or he's had a very good Cassante game so far, I think, to be fair. Yes, set up for success, but also has played out some of those 1v1s and 1v2s exceptionally well. And is Baron's up. So that's another thought to kind of keep an eye on here as well. JDG just picked up a third item on the AD carry, so their ability to theoretically burn through a Baron with a 3-item Neferia, 3-item Zaya is quite high, actually.
Yeah, but I'm just a little bit worried about doing it against a Bard ult, which can stop you, and then that can allow someone like the Skarner to get into position, and Yezreal firing over the wall. I don't think JDG want to easily start this. I think it's easier for them to start around the Dragon. It's much easier to take, much easier to tank. Going over the wall, shooting damage right now.
Not, it's bound to a wall briefly, cosmically no less. Again, going to try and take away this Raptor, and will do so. Clever girl.
Oh man, for those of you who never read the Jurassic Park book, myself included, I hear it's very, very good, by the way. Baron is going to get started now. Good stun onto Tien.
Ooh, Tempered Fate by space. That might allow Weibo to come over and try and fight this. The quickness comes on down, but look at Chow on the other side looking to find his own angle. Will flash out on the timer. Chris going to flash away in turn, but oh my day, Scout with a double disintegrate stun, and Bard is dead to rights.
Breathe doesn't want any part of this either, not teleporting in. Great damage from JDG, realizing they can look for the pick. They were never looking to really take the Baron easily. They wanted to make sure they get picks off of it. Redemption used to heal them up a little bit. Breathe is still not coming to the play.
He's still not trying to threaten with a tier 2. That's a big chunk onto Tien, who gets Impale on a great timer, by the way. Means that Shun's ult doesn't really work out as cleanly as he would like, but still going to buy the kill eventually. Xiao goes golden, but I think he's looking a little bit bronze right now. It's fool's gold as JDG show exactly what they are worth for the team fight.
High in the top side. Weibo committing to the 4v5 defense. They wanted to allow this Yorick to do this in the bot side. He does have the Hull Breaker. He kills turrets really well. He's taking the inner and the inhibitor. Baron will go down to the side of JDG, but it is going to be a 3 kind of point push from Breathe. Gets the inner, gets the inhibitor tower, gets the inhibitor itself. I don't think it's worth it all the same. Dragon will get started by Weibo now, but if this was the plan in topside, they had to just let the Baron go, you have to feel, or at least not die on the defense.
See what the thought process, but once some of those flashes came down, it got a bit trickier. They tried to walk that line, but they do get the Dragon after as well, you know.
Look, in the grand scheme of objective trades, you're not getting nothing for it. You get the inhibitor, you get the Dragon. Means you can extend the game a little bit more. Breathe gets more nucleated gold onto him. So this is the play on top side. Stun comes in from the Annie. I do really wonder whether Light should have just focused on getting out of life. Rather than staying and defending. I suppose he does at the end, but no credit to him. Maybe Xiaohu was rather the person I should aim that at. Xiaohu trying to go towards the Skarner there. I think you just have to let one person die. Don't let 4 people die on top side. That's a pretty high price.
It is. And look, I think the other thing is like, look, I see what the idea is with the quickness, because actually Tien timed that Impale exquisitely. Manages to pluck Shun out of his ultimate with the Impale. With a flash on him, but the Tempered Fate will turn this one around. Could potentially look to buy stand. The Cosmic Binding is good, but the heals are just not there to keep Xiaohu alive, who is now really struggling to get in and brawl. He's just blasted every time he looks.
JDG have realized Breathe is not teleporting to the defense. We can just go take the rest of the map. He's managed to get some gold back, but that gold is not at the play. Redemption coming in. I mean, you've got the Baron buff here. Sure, they can just try and look to end the game.
Light looking for a decent angle here to get some autos down. Too many minions are doing, but the minions are blocking quite a lot. They do lose the Maiden. Lost an Nexus turret, binding on through briefly. Crisp is going to get pulled back by Xiaoshu, and they lose their support. 20 seconds on Xiaohu. Gets a good impale, but there's just not enough damage because Paige pulls the feathers back, and they finally corral Weibo into a meaningful fight. And the meaning is the end of the damn game. JDG get vengeance for yesterday. It's a 2-1 victory that will bring JDG to 5-9. It's not going to change anything in the grand scheme of the standings, but it's a feel-good moment coming into playoffs.
JDG will get themselves revenge. It doesn't
phrase against Invictus Gaming in our final series of the regular split. It's a reschedule, but we're not going to complain. What a way to end out the regular season. Gios blare across our eardrums.
全军出击。
Ward down. There's your statistical graph. Such as it is. Giving IG a fairly decent mid-game spike, which I think makes sense when you've gone for Annie, Wukong, Rumble. First item, Snowball with those insane ultimates. Feels pretty good on the other side. BLG, look, they've got their own ways to play in the early game. You've got the Pantheon to layer, but you are perhaps a little bit reliant on making sure your mid-jungle gets to do fun things elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, well, Shadow and Knight having those globals. Important, you know, Shadow has actually struggled to make those aggressive plays as the split's gone on. Started very well at it. He needs to do well here now. Knight being on the Talir is a huge thing. IG, of course, winning the fan vote. They have some incredibly popular players on their roster. They've been doing pretty well so far. Headbutt for the poke, really. Which means that Elk's not there to auto-attack the rest of the wave. Garlic can stack up his Q. Get a bit more wave control. Fight for level 2.
Doing quite well at that so far, and again, that is what you can do on the Alistar. Is like, look, your level 1 kind of sucks, but if you can just knock AD carries away from CS, you can get quite a lot of value purely off that.
In this last matchup, we saw the team level 2 hit early. Where's the combo coming through? Flash away from on, they need to. Again, those headbutts away from the wave were really important there. Opens up that level 2. Both summoners blown by On for just the heal of Mako.
It does feel like we started seeing a lot of Alistar starting to do that again quite aggressively at the level 1s, especially because you're running the heal, you can afford to make some of those plays.
It is worth noting, and Harold's called this out in chat as well, losing prior to a level 1 Alistar. The AD carries paired with Alistar allow him to do this. With Sivir and Yunara, you actually have very good wave control just from the Q bounces from Yunara, and of course the threat of the trading with the auto attack reset with the Q is actually very, very high, and the Sivir, similarly with the Ricochet, can do stuff like that. What that means is that Alistar can focus on headbutting the other AD carry away from the wave, and it wins them that anyway.
Bin's gonna get taken very low. The Shy flashing on Fortis overheat. Ends up being flashed for flash, but Bin on very low HP here has got a healing pot and a door and shield and a dream.
He does. I don't know whether he's got himself any cookies. I didn't see any in inventory there. But Bin, yeah, taking low. Summoner for summoner. Slightly better off for the Shy there, I suppose. Good combo onto the Rakan. Does have the E out.
Try to find the trample angle by getting between those Iron and Rakan. You can sometimes get that angle off there quite well. Shadow, though, sliding into the top lane. And Shadow has been very willing to gank top lane, where other members weren't. The Shy, though, reads it. Very astute there.
It is a dangerous game when the Shy actually does see where the jungler is. In fact, on the Rumble, one of the last times he played it, ended up getting a double kill in a failed dive. Oh, this one, Halo with a double kill. Just play some Slayer up the top side, get a double kill as they tried to dive him. Last time he tried to, last time he was against a matchup while he was on his Rumble. Ben is picking up good CS though. We'll get slightly better of that from the Shy. You can see the power of the Yunara there, that quick tap of that Q. Does give crazy damage at the early levels.
Turns out cultivating your spirit is valuable towards damage. Worth noting actually as well, Wei with a slightly unusual jungle pathing kind of went from blue buff to bot side, then back top side again, trying to be with as much coverage across as much of the map as you can.
Elkanon do this thing which they just did in that trade there too. Very, very good at kind of snap Rakan W into an immediate QE from the Zyra. It's not for the roots, just for the poke, and they're very coordinated at doing that. It's one of the reasons they keep playing this duo. They're one of the best duos, I think, of Zyra Rakan, at least in the LPL. They've definitely got a lot of experience of it on the global stage as well. A bot lane which has been inconsistent, we'll say again. And hits level 5 and makes his trade look a little better for him, but still not fantastic. He can teleport back in. BLG and IG, both teams which we expect great things from. BLG, the expectations tempered a little bit more. Mako, good comment to the wall.
Interrupts the battle lance. There will be a second charge, so On will be fine. But again, Mako, when he's on, and I think this split he has been, there was a point, of course, where the Blitzcrank incident happened, where it was looking really difficult. Nice attempted stop there with the Arc of Ruin. Can't quite... Oh, Arc of Judgment. Do apologize. Not upgraded yet with the ultimate, but still, point still stands. No interrupt found.
Is it called Arc of Judgment? I just call it the prayer bead thing.
So Arc of Judgment is the non-ultimate version.
Okay,
and then
that's what I was
upgrades
asking.
to Arc of Ruin.
No, I knew the Arc of Ruin. I just didn't know the base form one because shows you I'm sure I read tooltips nowadays. Rookie getting the stun. Phase Rush see him to safety. Whee! Take on the other side. Yeah, and he takes a walk away from the mid lane. Shadow not able to get that much there. Fairly chill laning phase between Knights and Rookie. First time we saw the matchup between these two, Knight was blasting Rookie with the help of his team. BLG last year, and particularly actually before MSI, when they had Beitron and before, never really put resources into mid. Not really. They were much more about ganking bot lane, and then Knight would just survive whatever the hell was thrown at him. Bin would play on an island and top lane and they'd hope for the best. As the year has gone on, particularly when they face teams like Anyone's Legend, who are more than willing to just say, well, we're just going to perma-count mid then. BLG have started to return fire with that more and more. They've brought Shadow and On more into his lane, which is not how BLG have always played. They've never really played a mid-centric style, even with Knight. Knight has always been a very self-sufficient player, actually. BLG have done more and more with that as time's gone on. Is he right there? On, coming right into mid lane again. Again, yeah. And BLG putting more and more resources into mid lane as the years gone by.
Wait, gonna see Shadow trying to steal away a camp here. Can look to get in range for the smite. It's taken by Shadow, but now the equalizer comes across. Chunks out Shadow a little bit
comes
here.
Rookie.
Can look to turn this one around. Rookie is indeed coming out. The Age Stop buys some time. Public Execution prevents the easy access, but a Nimbus Strike allows the kill onto Shadow, and the invade goes very wrong.
Wei gets first blood against the team that he took to Worlds last year. BLG, reminder, started the year with Wei. In fact, they ended Summer Split last year with Wei winning their title as well. The Shy getting engaged onto, though. Knight flying up, and they'll get themselves a solo lane kill onto the Shy.
They had Mako around trying to get that shove on him, but in the end it's well punished, and Bin picks up a good kill there, especially because he has been chunked out very low in the laning phase, but had done a very good job of keeping up in CS now. Getting that kill puts him ahead of the matchup.
Yeah, and the Shy, big mistake there, was trying to see if he could get a extra wave kind of contended with. Mako getting some decent CC onto Bin. Running and heading up. No, hang on a second. Mako might need to flash or heal there, actually. Holding the wave for the Shy. That's really important, because if the Shy had lost this wave as well, he would be feeling really, really bad about this matchup compared to how it was before. Mako kind of bailing out the Shy, trying to greed for a wave on top side.
Even pulverized the wave to get them nice and low for the Flame Splitter flush. Flame Splitter push. That's the way of doing it. Confusing my consonants partway
yeah,
through
the
there.
flame splitter plush.
Spitter plush.
Yeah.
BLG gets a big squeeze on his arm.
IG on the other side, BLG talked about them. I'd argue that BLG have gotten worse as the years gone on. I think that they started in a better spot. And of course, they ended Summer last year with Wei. They replaced him with Shun midway through Worlds because he was struggling in the Worlds group stage. But don't forget, folks, that Wei took them to that Worlds in the first place. Shun was falling apart in LPL Summer 24. BLG needed him to get towards that World Championship, and then Shun fell apart, was far better at the World Championship itself. Wei, of course, then became the starter again as Shun left for JDG. Controversy aside, at the start of the year. And BLG have really struggled to get on the same page again, despite so many jungle changes. Look on IG on the other side. We saw them forming a super team, but we're thinking, well, okay, Rookie's been a little bit off for a little while. Gala and Mako have been about the place too. Mako, of course, was on top. He was looking pretty good, but even then, he fell apart at some international points. The Shy is the Shy. Sometimes excellent, sometimes terrible, and both in equal measure. And then, the jungle roundabout somewhat happened for them too. JJ was in one way as well. But IG have built across the year. They have gotten better. My thoughts when I saw this roster was, if they get on the same page, they can make it to Worlds. In fact, they can win LPL titles if they get things together. I think we're starting to see that now. We really are. They're 10-3. They're fighting for second place. And I think that particularly Rookie and the Shy have been potentially on MVP caliber splits. Of course, they've had some duff games in there too. Arguments aside, we talked about our MVP shortlists before. I think Jaculov's in there. Rookie, I think potentially Tarzan, Knight, the Shy. They're all in that kind of list. On trying to jump in. Mako's there.
Mako has been there quite a lot this game in general. Making some good-looking moves here on the Alistair at the very least. Hasn't really led to all that much of a lead. We'll note actually that at the minute it's a slight lead to Elk, who's done a good job of finding some better access to some of these waves. Slight leads in a lot of these lanes. Good stun there onto Elk though as Tibbers comes on down for a chunk.
It's actually Knight that's ended up getting the biggest lead on the map so far. It's a small one, but he's managed to get that somehow. 10 CS lead. I'm not exactly sure where he got the other stuff on. There was an assist.
Lane switches and stuff as well. Just good management.
There was that. He also got an unassisted, like a one-man assist, right? Which means that. So assist, for those of you who don't know, it splits across everyone who gets involved in the assist. So if you're one person assisting, I think you get the full 150 gold. Otherwise, it's split across. So actually get some decent value from that. Not all assists are created equal. We have Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. In a game like this, when you're playing around globals and playing around side lane advantages and stuff like the Rumble and the Ambassador and the Shy's been so good on Rumble recently too. I don't think we're going to see any early Dragon easily. Like, if it's free to take, you will do, but what you'd rather do is spend your time impacting side lanes instead with these ults.
Also, no, actually, Wei has gone for 2 of those early objectives. Went for a very early level 4 dragon, took the grubs as well. And it's meant that Shadow's done what Shadow's often done for the BLG, which is just say, screw, we're not going to play for the first 2 objectives. I am going to farm, particularly on things like the Pantheon. I want to get first item, I want to make these first ults really sting. And he's gotten a good individual lead right now, as you were talking about.
Knight's crashing in the wave as Dragon spawns. On's moving up from bot lane after securing that lane, making sure Knight wasn't under threat. Moving up towards mid lane too. They've lost the mid lane push though, so IG will have an easier entrance in towards that Dragon. Gala was not at the first item just yet. Looks like he's going towards the Kraken Slayer first build. And Dragon looked at by IG but not started again. They don't really want to be stuck on it. Might catch him on here. A crushing blow from Wukong will bonk Rakan on the head, but that'll be the end of it.
You could see On had Elk behind him at max range distance, because again, you do get the extended battle dance range to Xayah, so you can sort of face check by virtue of being able to pull yourself back out with the escape route.
Pull yourself together, Marine. GFZ is going to roll across the bridge and...
Big green style.
big green style cannot be defeated. God damn.
I know what the League of Legends players like.
I did have all of those memorized as one of Johnson's speeches and speeches in Halo Combat Evolved 2. Dragon has now well and truly been started. Here comes the engage.
Up, puts under in a difficult position. He's going to pump the quickness down, flashes to get the charm onto the Shy, who then pulls back away, but the Feather Storm will get Shy very low. Does actually get a turn around. Public execution lands. They finally bring the Shy low, but it puts Bin very damn deep. Rookie exhausted, On needing to run away, but Rookie's so damn fast with the phase rush. Just needs a Q. He should surely have it. I don't think On's going to be fast enough. And not enough! No way! Double stun with the disintegrate. Turn around, Mako with a double pulverize. Elk trying to trade out. It's got the deadly flourish. Running Mako needs to flash one out. Wei can't get the kill. Shadow back up and alive, looking for value as Wei needs to flash out. Rookie now in danger as Knight's looking for. He's got a flash. Could look for his eyes, but Chevron won't quite find it. Ends up being a 1-for-1, and no one else falls.
All things said and done, it is just that 1-for-1, though it got damn close. A ton of summoners were blown. Knight, if you got that flick back, here comes the Pantheon ult, forcing another slash. So many flashes down from IG now. Only Gala's remaining.
That is wild stuff. Knight holds on to his. Elk holds on to his. Hoping we get a replay. Still ends up being with the Dragon secured by IG. That is their third neutral objective. They do end up going 1-for-1. It's an okay play in that scheme of things. There's a lot of extra cost, and it's a messy fight.
I have to say, about half of all League of Legends have played around this kind of choke point right now. This kind of mid lane entrance towards the river. The Shy tries to hold it and gets blasted. Very lucky for him to actually survive a little bit longer. Gets a tiny bit more damage down and forces Bin to go melee range, and that's a one-way trip. So what should have been a free kill onto the top lane becomes a 1-for-1. Rookie thinks then he has the free kill here. It's so close.
Oh my days.
That must be 10 HP, 20 or something like that. Very, very close to seeing things through to a kill here too. But IG somehow managed to tank through all 3 members and all of them walk away with their lives intact.
Costs them a lot of flashes, but they do get away with it. They do get the objective. They are within touching distance of the goal, even if BLG have got a slight lead there. It's kind of been bouncing back and forth a bit as people pick up various waves on reset timers and stuff. So not exactly been anything game-breaking right now, and IG have put a lot more attention into getting those objectives than BLG have. It's probably partly why we are seeing some of those mild gold leads from lanes.
Shy has himself the first item, so he has himself that Leandra. He's been stopped off for the Hex Drinker, which is a good component, but yeah, the Shy's winning with a 1-item spike.
Yeah, Bin's going to have his Hex Drinker procced, and no longer has that shield.
And he doesn't have the HP to fight back now is the problem. Wei can come into this side of the map, as can Mako. You see that Shadow and On, they're trying to defend here, but the Shy, on the whole, trading a little better than Bin so far.
Yeah, he has been. We've seen, actually, in fairness to Bin, him picking up a lot of the farm. So despite being caught in turret, despite being left at 20% HP, Carla gonna Kanmei step briefly, gets the cleanse on the quickness, will then begin to shuffle away with his own untouchable Shadow. Gets ahead of that, is now, unfortunately for Shadow, speaking of, ends up headbutt pulverized, may well lose his red buff here. The Shy coming up, so are Elk and On, so is Bin. Weaver's Wall looking to collapse. Wei now potentially in danger. Public execution lands, but there might be an opportunity to shove back away. We'll throw down the Warrior Tricks to Elk and On in danger, but they've still got 2 extra members because Wei's fallen already, but now Gala's roamed up, looking for the stun, gets it, as Knight needs to flash away from the damage. On in danger, goes down, makes that the 1-for-1. Elk with a good root pull.
Oh, it's a mess!
Shy is trying to get the kill. Burn does get that one. Bin's now in danger because Gala has ensured that he is transcending himself and the health bars of BLG.
Is that a 4-for-2? I think it is. BLG and IG going hell for leather in the top side jungle. IG lose their jungle and their top laner, but they walk away with everyone but Knights. BLG They're losing the early game skirmishes for IG. One of our worries for IG is that actually they're very good in late game, but it's the early game where it's a bit rocky. It's somewhat the opposite for BLG, where we thought actually their early game and their snowballing is their strength. But actually when it gets to late game, they'll start to throw it. IG punching them in the face this early is a problem for BLG, based off of where we know their strengths and weaknesses lie. Before that, Taliyah comes in for a great ult to even up the numbers here, but they've lost the Pantheon so early. Moko, Wei getting the better on that first end of the fight. And yes, while they do lose their jungler afterwards, it buys time for Rookie and Gala to come back up and re-engage the fight. And it's not like there's any front line here for BLG to tank any of this damage.
Might have been forced away by Rookie, and that Annie Tibbers made it so hard. And sure, the Shy falls, but he takes so much of the HP bars with him. And Gala is free firing the entire time. He comes away with a double kill from that.
Yeah, that's going to be Shadow going down for his second death of the game there too. Well, caught out away from the rest of his team. Perhaps thought he was safe, but IG stuck around, and I'm sure he absolutely wasn't. Dragon's up in 30 seconds, and really need to keep an eye on this jungle matchup. You know, Wei is against the man who replaced him. Well, no, the man who replaced the man who replaced him.
Yeah.
Which is Wei, and then Beitran, and then Shadow. Wei getting the better of Shadow in the game so far.
Mako gonna get into a bit of danger. Will flash away, stay safe, but does end up burning that additional summon spell. So was about to praise Mako. Had a really good invade. He's been playing a mean Alistair game so far. It's a good little pickup onto the health bar, and also going to force an awkward journey to the mid lane, because BLG did get the Herald and could potentially look to force IG out of the river with Soul Point available.
Really interesting that Mako chose not to burn his ult, instead choosing to use that flash. Wants it for the fight. He's still half HP. He might have to blow the ult now, though. He can burn both.
Way though, he can get the backline with a Cyclone. Elk does time the Featherstorm well, but he's trapped. Goes down. No chance to pull the Feathers tonight with no flash. Goes down as well. Mid AD carry dead. They were focusing on Mako, and Wei said, "Yeah, but you didn't notice me, did you? Welcome."
The Shy divides by 0 with the equalizer and goes infinite value. Just the ultimate tagging onto 5 people, getting the slow, the damage, and then the Cyclone after fight under turret, though, trying to catch out the Annie.
They will surely bring Annie down. Rookie does fall, but they're still going to get the knock up on a couple. Bin now low as Garland's continuing on free fire. Jumps onto the turret. The Archivers are off stunned there as well. Garland takes another turret shot. They'll lose one more. The Shy is now here, but why does he want to be there? Has to flash out the grand entrance. On gets taken pretty damn low, but will not get dropped down. The Gleaming Quill Hill will be enough. Wei gets Soul Point.
IG had just done all the hard work. They got that fight in the river, and they threw back 2 kills towards BLG completely unnecessarily. BLG pick up some extra kills, which they probably weren't deserved of in that fight, especially after that mid lane play. Elk getting himself a little bit of value. IG, yeah, they do get the dragon. They still get themselves that soul point. We'll go back to the replay here. Just watch how the equalizer attacks everyone and then provides the extra threat. Did they actually see the root come there? I'm not sure. That was a big vision toggle. But watch what happens to this equalizer. It is a 5-man equalizer. Cyclone over the top, catching both carries Wei on a magnificent angle. The jungle top combo comes up absolute tops of field. We did not expect him to come from the fog of war.
And IG tried to threaten for the turret as well, and it almost looks good, but BLG 3-man pile on Rookie, who does go down. But then Mako gets to tank up, and you're thinking, oh god, I can step forward here. Right, just need an extra order one bin, and
bad terror aggro juggling.
Yeah.
Well, Mako had used his ult earlier, of course. Scala goes way too far there. Awkward. Good double slam. It's a bit of damage. Turrets it back in kind. Gala running back at them with the Q active.
Got a heal to work with. Looking to jump on this turret. The teleport's coming. Gets a knock-up onto Wei. Public execution.
Bin.
But they've got to get the kill onto Bin's here. Cyclone's decent. Arc of Ruin across Bin's. A bigger 1-for-1. But Shadow on the flank goggle. Flash for the shield vault. Flash away from Gala. But the Comet Sphere still comes on down. Shadow. And of course, look at the other side as Bin gets another kill. The shield vault goes on board. And they get another one. And the BLG find huge value. That tier 1 mid lane has been IG's absolute kryptonite.
Bin and Shadow get a huge set of angles. I don't think IG expected Bin to come from the Fog of War or Shadow. Couple of times now, this mid lane turret has been their demise, and suddenly BLG explode to a 3,000 gold lead, where we thought actually the early game was looking IG favored. No longer the case. This is what happened on bot side. We saw the Pantheon Taliyah fly down there.
And it does look like they got on top of the Rumble, who did not really get an opportunity to get out there because he was trapped between a wall and a seismic shield, and so died a horrible death. That was a nice pickup there, and we'll have a look instead at this mid lane play, where of course the Rumble being dead gives an opportunity to make this a 5v5.
I just don't think they expected the Ambassador over the wall. And of course Shadow came in from the bot side as well. The Rumble's already dead. We did see that we actually cashed that in live. Gala, good flash over the feathers, but the Q comes in last to help that. Fight in picture.
Wei just about surviving right now. It has been an absolute fracas of a game. Mako gets jumped on. Seismic shove and a good kill from BLG. The mid game, for once, is looking really good from them.
All right, BLG. starting to fire off really massively here. They don't take the smite away from Wei, so I suppose there is a potential of a contest here. Without Mako, can they really walk in? Atakan started. BLG taking it well right now. There is an equalizer, and there is a Cyclone's not available right now. That's a problem.
Transcending themselves is Equalizer, doesn't really tag onto anyone. That's a little bit ugly. We're trying to think, maybe get a steal on the Atakan with the ult, can't find it, and that means Atakan goes BLG's way.
So BLG, last few minutes, have managed to really put things back into their favor. The Paddles very much in their favor. Each 10 you have over your opponent, it's about 1,000 gold lead, and with the Atakan you get even more bonus from that as well. So you chuck in the 3,000 gold lead, another 2,000 or whatever over the top of it for BLG. It's more like a 5,000 effective gold lead from the Atakan. Of course, the Dragons are there for IG on the other side, and the feats of strength. So actually, it's quite interesting. Rookie
flashes away. Grand Starfall came on through. Weaver's Wall also. Where's Rookie going to roll? As On's coming, Bin's coming, and Rookie is just a dead Annie.
Overpushed in that side lane. BLG using the Pantheon, the Talia ults very effectively in the last few minutes. It's not necessarily where the Observer's been at first, but if caught out the shy before that last fight, catches that Rookie here. IG are 3 grub cross-mapping on the other side, so it's not for nothing here. BLG still showcasing that they have a powerful macro tool to bring out the mid-jungle ultimates.
Kind of saw it earlier on with that kind of statistical overview. It's like, okay, look, BLG, once you hit a certain point, when the map widens up a bit, the Pantheon Talia combo gets really dangerous because anyone in the side lane is so vulnerable. The Annie, the Rumble, don't really have the best tools, especially without Flash, to deal with all of that CC chaining and collapse potential, bluntly.
Minutes till the next Dragon. Ultimates on cooldown, rather, for BLG from that mid-jungle. As it stands, where are our gold leads standing? 2,000 gold leads tonight in the mid lane with a 9-stack Dark Seal. I actually think the Ryalize is very important here too. You're already doing enough damage. Ryalize is actually a very good stat stick. I don't think the Leandries is going to break any crazy breakpoints for you. Just by hitting that Q, it means that champions like the Rumble, the Annie, the Wukong, they can't run out of a play very well. If they start losing a fight IG now, the Ryalize can often trap you into a situation where there is no getting out of that fight.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I will attack that turret. Dimensions.
3 grubs make it. This is going to be an inner turret for Dragon Trade. IG, they're only giving over the first Dragon to BLG. This is not bad for them. I actually think IG, in terms of their macro, one of our better teams in the LPL. They're definitely okay at taking trades, and on the whole, they come out better than a lot of our other LPL teams. BLG, take that Dragon. Not going to be able to get that much on mid-tab. Rookie's there to wave clear. Shouldn't be that much outside of that. To say that, that's actually a lot more damage than I thought they would. Almost take down the whole damn inner turret.
Rookie's running into the issue that he hasn't sorted his second item yet, has been forced off a lot of ways because he's been he was the guy who died under that turret in mid lane, got ganked on the side lane, doesn't quite have enough wave clear even with Tibbers right now. Can like chunk out minions, but it's not like a full clear quite yet. Leandry's required for that.
Yeah. Alright, so BLG, slight gold lead, first Dragon on the board, the Atakan helping them to IG, have the soul point held over BLG. They can use that to say, look, we're not going to fight for a little while, we can wait actually until we feel like we can take a better fight. We can wait for better options. We get a kill before the objective, then things start to open up. They might start playing a little bit of a slow, drawn-out game, which is where BLG have typically not succeeded, but Mako's going to find the whole team in the bush.
He does get the triple pulverized, buys a lot of time yet to ult, now does. He's got a flash, will he be needed to use it? The equalizer back will get a bit of a chunk, so it ends up being 2 ults. And trade for none at all, really. Bin also gets free time on this top lane tier 1.
The other side, Rookie pushing in a wave on the other side. Mako not blowing flash, actually a pretty big win given the situation. The Alistair flash, very important to potentially catch out Elk or Knight or someone in the middle of a combo. Mako's Alistair has been an incredible playmaker over the years, as we've been talking about. You know what, I'm actually going to go look up his all-time stats on that champion, because goddamn, he's played so much of it.
He's played a lot of Alistair over the years, it has to be said. Going to help pick up this wave a little bit more silent again with the Pantheon and the Talia ults up and available again. If you lose track of On as well, he could be roaming around. There is a very real world that someone like Annie, someone like Rumble for the Shy could end up getting picked off in a side lane a little too freely.
Yeah, Baron spawning in the next few seconds. That'll be another objective to play around. We do have the big ults from mid-jungle from BLG. And Pantheon coming out of base, so very powerful tools for BLG to split the map. This is Mako's 162nd game on Alistair across his career. He has a 69% win rate and a 4.25 KDA, which for a support is actually incredible, by the way. Yeah, there's nothing to sniff at that. This is yeah, this is like some A5 beef. This is the prime stuff.
He's on 68.9% win rate. I think if he wins here, it'll be a really nice round number.
Would actually, I think what it will end up doing, Sam, is probably go up to 70% then. Maybe. Actually, no, it's not going to be 2%.
You're missing the meme, Al.
On, jumping forwards onto Wei. Clone tanks it up. I think it will actually just go over slightly over 69%. That's true. That's true. You'll probably then round down to it, Sam.
The overnice number.
So the legend goes.
Third item for Gala, who's just picked up an Infinity Edge, by the way. That could be nasty. He's also gone Steel Caps this game, worth noting.
Yeah. Yeah, he has. We've seen a little bit more from that kind of thing because, look, Yunara has to kind of jump into some enemy damage to do her own at points, and you're often trying to go blow for blow. The Xayah often been a better duelist. Talia ult just used to make sure there's no push up towards that tower. Remember, it's 3 grubs from IG. Only 1 or 2 auto attacks would kill the tower, the DOT after. We're into a slower macro game. This is where BLG must show that they have leveled up from their poor late game status, which they have achieved this split. Their late game has been very, very poor for a top LPL team. And for a team that's been to World Finals, been to MSI Finals, we expect so much more from them despite the roster changes and what have you. BLG must show a better late game. IG had beaten them in this situation before. Pantheon could ult behind them.
Turret finally falls. It's the clone that gets chunked out. The backline goes Bin. Trying to find the Grand Star Ball, but Bin is exhausted, having to flash away. Elk also up into the Feather Stall. The Shy burning people down as Yunara blows up Bin.
It's just not connected for BLG. Shadow flashes out. Wei follows him, trying to take down the next in the lineage of the BLG jungle. Wei from Invictus Gaming with love, trying to kill down his replacement.
Oh, it is. And Mako gives the speed boost with the heal to just give that extra little shove. And it's all the stamina required to make sure this part of the Pretty Derby goes the way of IG.
BLG really disconnected on the initial engage. You can see there that realistically BLG were looking for the engage, but Shadow's ultimate is about 5 seconds too late. I really don't think he was there at the right time. He's died at the back end of that play, and it opens up a smiteless contest of the Baron. BLG must fight. They cannot secure this easily.
Bin can TP in 2 seconds, but will it be in time to stop the Baron going down? Looking for the engage now, and it is a good shove onto Rookie, who just about gets a stun, stays alive. Baron's still going down. Rookie gets to back away. Bin's come back in. 2,000 HP. It's getting messy. Taken by Wei is the Baron. They lose the Rumble for it. They're trapped in the pit, trying to fight their way out. Bin gets knocked up. Mako with a wonderful pulverize. Wei is healing so damn much. Conqueror value. El Canonzo down low. Gala survive. Last auto. Mid-grand entrance. They go forwards. Pulverize, the unbreakable will is breakable enough. Knight looking for that one. Oh, wonderful angle from Gala, who gets a triple kill. Redemption Hill's not enough. And Knight stands and delivers and will get down everybody not named Rookie. They get 1 Baron buff out alive.
There is one last rock stood in the way, and it is Knight's Tilliet, one of the best players of all time on the champion, comes away with a game-saving team fight, potentially. BLG, they do have the jungle alive to stop the dragon going over to the side of IG. IG took the Baron. It is only available on Rookie. Heroics from Knight to save the back end of that fight around the Baron. Dragon's not going to be completely finished by Shadow. Afraid that Rookie would walk up and potentially one-shot him, let's be honest. We are into a very, very even game, even in gold. IG do have members coming back out alive, though. Rookie not level 16 yet. Still on that level 15. Has himself that ult back up and available. We might get ourselves another fist fight around the dragon. BLG do not want to give over that Cloud Soul.
That was an insane untouchable Shadow Arc of Ruin combo to blow up one. I think if Gala got a last auto off on Knight, could have taken Knight with him. Couldn't quite do it on. Ends up face checking Wei briefly, but Wei has been pretty good with the clones over the last couple of fights, of absorbing a bit of CC, lots of items to blow. Look at Gala, he's on 4.
Yeah, and then in the next fights, I really need to see more from Bin. I think Bin has been diving in and dying, not very coordinated on the dive. Or BLG this time. Bin's better. It has been better than when he first started. Equalizer goes on to Elk and on to Shadow. Dragon secured by BLG.
What a fight after. Age Salt down. On goes looking with the quickness. Can't quite find it. Redemption will heal Mako right back up. Knight and the rest of BLG looking to run away. Ooh, backstep on the public execution. And the Grand Star Ball to escape. IG still looking to see the guys when Shadow got taken down to basically no HP.
Yeah, the Equalizer really shredded through him at that Dragon fight. IG lose a chance to get that soul. They do still have a minute left of the Baron buff technically. Can they push in with it? Rookie would have to be on the wave. And there he is. Baron buff used to make sure they get this wave in. Can BLG... Do they look to defend the turret? Rookie could potentially dunk an ult on him.
No TP angles really available. It's the clone that's shoved on, gets headbutt, pulverized.
Oh!
And Gala makes sure to show exactly how cultivated his spirit is. The Arc of Ruin eviscerates Elk, headshots the bird. A bird of prey turns into exactly that. He managed to get the kill back onto Mako at the very least with a good seismic shove, but it's still a 4v3. The Shy backstacks the seismic shove. Ryan Slow was nearly too scary, but had a good scrap shield speed up. Gala now autoing the turret. Inhibitor potentially after under threat.
Oh, what the hell happened with Elk there? He died with his... I don't know what happened with his ult, but it didn't look like it was that impactful. And IG, we said if they can drag BLG to late game, they'll likely win. It's how they beat them last time. Looks like they're doing just that. Knight is trying his goddamn hardest. This Talia has been the last stumbling block that IG have struggled to completely close this game out over. Elk on the Xayah actually struggling to teamfight an awful lot. It's quite hard to into the bunch of CC on the other side. He doesn't have a cleanse. He has the Ghost instead, which is a problem against the Annie. You do have the knockups to worry about in the Wukong and the Alistair instead. You understand why. We'll go back to this replay. What happened to Elk? I didn't quite catch it when we were live. Trying to get some damage through with the minefield, and On just completely obliterated it. And then what happens here? Stun onto Elk, and then he gets hit by the Cyclone, and he ults and dies at the last bit of it. He just ults late. He walks into the Cyclone, gets hit by the Arc of Ruin. Elk just presses his ult late. A massive misplay on the Xayah. You cannot allow that to happen in late game. Elk's late game teamfights have been poor this split.
And On, Mr. Mikhail's out of the Annie stun, but then the Cyclone comes on through and just gets blown up. And again, look, individually, we've seen a lot of very good Xayah play into Yunara. It's not just Yunara alone, then. There's so many additional threats that is making the Xayah's life so tricky at the minute. Mako have got pulverized, does get exhausted, but again, just there to switch out summoners.
I also think, I think Gala and Mako have had a great game themselves. I think Gala on the Yunara has been such a knife in the side, and Mako has been using the breadth of his HP buff very well. Wei has flash, has ult on going backwards. They find themselves engaged, not quite yet.
There's the equalizer. Wei comes out of the bush, looking. Shadow will deny it with the shield vault, and BLG managed to escape the trap that IG was preparing for them.
Not gonna lie, folks, not many LPL teams would do that, but they throw out an ultimate and they don't follow it. And they think, actually, this is not the play. That mid-fight decision-making can save your life, though, sometimes. IG don't find the fight that they need. A reminder, folks, we've been talking pretty big about BLG and talked about, some of the woes from Elk in this late game on the Xayah, which we've had some worries about him on late game this split. It's not been as good as potentially in the past. BLG still can absolutely win this. They have the goal two-way flashing forwards.
Does get onto Knight and interrupts the Weaver's wall. Knight's now in danger. Cyclone Part 2. It's not an electric boogaloo because they're all burning down. Gala with a flash. Arc of Ruin gets on as well.
IG drag BLG to the late game and beat them in it. Wei, their jungler they started the year for, the jungler that took them to Worlds last year, has struck them back not just in one series, but in the second one that could secure second seed out of regular season with a vengeance.
And Knight, Knight, he's been caught a few times over the last few series. That one will cost them a game. It's going to lead to the Nexus turrets under siege. They've got a 5v3 to try and hold the line. Shadow with an Aegis Assault is head-butted away. Rookie goes flashing. Elk into the sky. Public execution does bring down the Annie, but will it stop the fight? Bin is damn well trying, but Mako says no. Pulverized down. Shadow still trying. Elk throwing out feather after feather after feather. But I'm afraid there's just no more left on the wings. He can't fly. Icarus melts away under the force of IG's sun.
Nice start of the year.
Game 1 certainly did just that. It was a FedEx delivery of a wonderful game. Game 2, crowds from here. A dedicated BLG fan core doing their best there because IG have once again come in incredible force. Mako going to be chunked out here and probably forced on a reset.
But what's interesting is Wei. By the way, Vi in Chinese and Mandarin translates to Wei, basically. So he's playing a champion which he is actually named after. Put down a ward or two. So there is going to be a warded start on the Raptors. He is very much behind enemy lines. The BLG spot this out? No, he could stick around. He could start on enemy Raptors. If he manages to get that, that'd be a huge takeaway. He might need to take the blast cone to make sure he isn't seen by minions. Shadow's going to start on the other side, but I don't think that BLG know where Wei is at all. He should be able to start on enemy Raptors, then we'll see what happens. Is it a one camp and out, or is he going to stick around, try and bet that Shadow won't come in to contest him on Shadow's own red?
See how that one all plays out, because again, you can see by the way that Shadow is pulling that blue buff, is looking to potentially come straight down towards this bot lane, or potentially for the red buff. I think it also then means this early shove bot side, whoever gets it, could end up being very impactful here. because you will have bot lane support one way or another. Elk burning the barrier early on with the heal to try and fight with this level 2, but the ricochets keep throwing, and Mako in the form of Civic with the better auto attack animation.
Jesus Christ, both these junglers are going to be he wasn't seen. He wasn't seen. They had no idea about it. We might see a 3v3 with both junglers coming out of the enemy jungle. Have to keep an eye on that minimap. There's going to be a level 3 jungler from both teams heading bot side, potentially. Shadow skipping wolves. He might only just be level 2.
That could be problematic in his way as well. Now got a fantastic angle from behind enemy lines at level 3 with a red buff. Eyes on it, Shadow's gone towards wolves. It's a disaster.
Shadow isn't there. Oh, this is an awesome early game plan from Wei. Can they force it enough out? Low HP on both sides. Do they see him? No. Does Wei choose to go out? If he gets a flash over the wall, it's dead.
Elk's gonna be in so much danger! Holding the Q! Holding the Q! Eat it! But they can't get the cover. Blooming burst is enough! Mako gets first blood!
Wei! I don't really think there was a flash predict, but it worked out just the same. Hit the Q and then flashed out. Gets the kill onto Elk. Shadow, now still on bot side, has full HP, doesn't have red buff. Dollar Mako should make it out alive here. I'll look to reset safely. Wei will guard that back. Awesome early game plan from Wei versus the team, which dumps him partway through this year. If he beat them like this, oh, what a sting that'd be.
Rookie, I think, might just be dead in trade, though. Good flash, but then Shadow caught him, the turret slowed down!
Kill back to Rookie. He has himself a teleport, but he'll miss the cannon and the minions. Knight gets himself an assist out of that, pushes the wave in, equaling gold between the mid laners, a little bit more towards the jungle. Away comes out a Fog of War, puts a ward down there, sees the position, knows that potentially someone is there. And what happens here? Hits the Q, flashes back because he doesn't want to take the tower shot, I suppose. Elk just about dies to the Scorch. Close run stuff.
Maybe if you'd stuck around, there might have been an auto that come through from out. The turret shot on with the tether probably does get the kill, actually, or at least gets closer. So, on retrospect, I see the thought process from Wei, especially early on. You're just not that tanky to turret shots, it has to be said. And Gala gets to come back to lane. Didn't actually get an assist there, worth noting, whereas Mako did, but it means he's got an amp tone, and early on, Nico is just a bit of a bully.
Yeah, very much so. Nico has been very, very powerful. We've seen it in LEC, LPL. Haven't actually walked out as much LCK, but despite the nerfs to the Nico, specifically for support with that clone and a couple of the item interactions, still very, very strong. Still very, very strong. Wins most laning phases. Knight, speaking of laning phases, keeping up with the Orianna, has Dark Seal first, got that first assist as well. Knight doing well in this lane, and we know that if BLG are to win, it really has to be on the wings of Knight. They're stone in this one. Makes it a little harder to fly off with them, but hey, it's never stopped him. Flashing forwards, no flash on the Orianna.
Yeah, and there's a 3-man collapse. Zon's found a way out. There's the route from the renewal, and they will get the kill onto Rookie, who had nowhere to go there.
If you watch BLG 24 at the start of this year, this isn't a play that they would have made. They never ganked Knight, really. It was a much lower... Occasionally they would, but they never really put the resources there. They've gone twice now towards this lane. Wei and Mako going towards the enemy jungle. They find him out here. There is no flash on the Shins out.
And the angle... Oh, he just found the way around there.
I think they spotted him. I don't think Shadow saw. Shadow didn't see. Q's gonna be fully charged out of
the front. Oh boy. Gonna go over the wall now. Doesn't get hit by the tangle above. The Q's just shy. I actually think Shadow can get out now.
Bin's now down here too. Bin has himself a fully charged Q. Gala's down here. 2v3. Bin should be safe to clear out this wave. Shadow, I think, lucky to get away with the trade which he did. W over the wall. Saw him to safety. Mako try to stop the recall and does. Can Shadow make it out to his side of the map? He should be able to. Stop with that recall. Mako causing a bit of issues here, though.
And interrupt a bit more. Decimating smash. Tangle Barb does go wide.
Mako.
Down. Still got a heal and a flash. But it's another denied reset, but they can't really dive now, especially with Wei looking to backward. He's on the dragon right now. Good pullback.
Exactly. The thing is, though, BLG don't know that Wei's on the dragon, so that's why Shadow didn't charge in for that play onto Mako. Could have at least forced the summoners, but Shadow didn't want to walk into Wei's Wei in Mandarin. We'll take that dragon. Shot on top side. He's in a bit of trouble here, but we'll get out safely. But losing HP means that he might be under threat of a dive actually later on.
Back and gets the obliterate single target. Reminder, if you do hit single target Qs, you do a lot of damage. That's the reason it's a big deal. Death's Grasp is isn't it?
Death's Hand.
Death's Hand. Is that not no, it's a Swain. With the lightning hand.
Oh yeah, that is. You're completely right. Yeah, okay.
I did the same thing in my brain.
The Shy has level 6. He can definitely ult and cause some damage here. If Knight walks up to me, I think all you do is force the ult.
He's holding on to it for now. They've got to be a bit wary about walking up and allowing a single target ult. And there he goes. Knight going to be trapped within it. Eats a fair amount of damage. The Shy's going to be a little bit deep for this, though. It's got Flash. Still got an indestructible shield to work with. Can heal back up afterwards. Buys a lot of time. Then will heal. Good double pull. Oh! Sorry. Flashed away. But Shadow's now here. I think he's likely dead.
Yeah, he'll dash in. The W will hit.
Oh.
Wind becomes lightning. Mordekaiser becomes dead. Mako on the top side, not able to stop that much. There was such a clutch Mordekaiser E again, but couldn't quite get the damage he needed to under turret.
Sidesteps the Wind becomes lightning. Shadow's left quite low here. How aggressively does Mako want to play? He's got an Orianna and a Vi coming. Kind of forces them back away from this wave a bit. They're all really low.
Oh my god, this could be a huge Vi Orianna combo. I think they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Shadow does not have level 6. Wei does. This is a huge play incoming.
Oh lord, watch for that Shockwave. There they go. Shockwave still available. Onto Elk, who tries to flash. Can't do it. And they get both.
Elk dies again. Wei does not die under turret. I thought that might be a threat, but not the case. IG take 2 on the top side. Rookie, Wei, get themselves something. Wei gonna walk into the Galio, but not get taunted.
Worth noting that the Shy did end up losing a double stack wave there, so it ends up being 20 CS lead for Finn as a result of that. But hey, the comeback is pretty good from IG. It gets a kill onto Rookie, it gets another kill onto Wei. That's pretty good going nonetheless.
Elk also loses a wave though. So while the top lane difference, yes, getting a little scary, and the Mordekaiser does need to be strong individually to make a difference out of this. However, if the Varus isn't strong, the damage from BLG looks really suspect. He's died twice in the early game. Failed flash from the Elk trying to go over the Vi Q. Instead, actually, the flash coming in from afterwards to see them to safety. If Elk loses any more gold, I get really worried. Now, he's just about even right now in terms of the actual individual matchup, but he has lost a bunch of XP. He's almost a full level down on Garlet. He needs to be strong. There's not many other people I can really count. Well, there's no one really else who can solo carry on this team.
Death Smash traded for Decimating Smash, but still got it off before it came on down. Through onto Mako, courtesy of the renewal Chains of Corruption. I think Mako could be in danger here. Has to flash. Garlic cleanses because of the spread of the Chains of Corruption. Piercing arrow just wide. Good vision. Toggle observance.
Nasty stuff from the Varus. On the Karma, strong early game duo, forcing Mako to be respectful. Doesn't have that flash now for his first big ult of the game, probably. Rob's being started though from IG. Have the first one, get the second. They get 2, probably will just get out.
We'll see back to Wei, but that's the trade for the mid lane. As Wei, again, very much focusing these early objectives. Shadow with a lot of early kills worth noting. He's got all of them, in fact, for BLG, but hasn't got the farm lead, hasn't got the objectives so far. Has got a quadrant also to pick up, but look at Wei. He's got most of his camps as well.
Now, Shinzao getting kills in this game, it's not that bad. I think there are a lot of people you can chase down as a fed Shinzao. Shockwave missing. Whatever, it's wave clear. It would have been nice to get the pull back onto Knight, potentially force him into a very bad reset. Be able to stick in top side now with the HP up there. Shadow around here too. That could be a problem. There's a flash coming back up for Knight. Henschel, Rookie getting his flash forced here. If they've managed to find the Lance of CC.
Gala was pathing top side, has now gone mid. Wei's also mid. If he shows, I think that gives license for Shadow. He's reset, so it's not going to happen. And Rookie gets to hold on to his flash. Doesn't overstep while he was there.
See, Elk has to play so respectfully him. Has no flash. There is a Vi off the map. If he comes in with a Q and an ult, will be enough to kill. Even with the barrier coming back up, it's just not a safe place to be. The Vi into the Varus has always been a good combo. Counter, I suppose, for that. Have a bit of a step back now. Have a think about what's happening across the entire map. First item's about to be completed. Double magic resist items from BLG solo laners. The Hollow Radiance coming in from both of them. Jungle completed first item for Shadow. Wei should have his first completed on this next back as well. So actually not that much difference between the junglers, all things said and done.
Not the minute. Not the minute. Dragon 30 seconds away, because I think the thing that Wei has got, from the farm, keeping them close, it's the fact he has got those early objectives is pretty significant. A second dragon here will put them towards the feature strength for objectives. The kills already BLG's favour because they got that 3 kills before IG managed to pick up their response dive under the tier 1 top.
I think it's a real problem that IG have got that dragon, you know, because BLG, they're not confident in late game. If IG get a chance to just drag out the game, just give up a dragon or 2 because they have that early one, I think they're okay with that. They just need to not die, not give a huge gold lead over. W does land, and Calm Q does land onto Gala as well. Dragon spawn. I think they'd be completely within their right to just not fight over that. Let BLG have it. Sure, whatever. Go get some farm onto the Shy and the Mordekaiser instead. He really wants to get up to some better items. Been angling for an angle down the river. Do they spot him? I don't think they do, actually.
Pick up this dragon as well. Don't feel like they can contest it super easily. Wait is around now, but maybe just want to get shoved through mix again. The other ones with the grubs. Rookie now coming, looking for a bit of value.
I don't think they should fight this.
Renewal down. That's going to be a big route onto Wei. Then the Chains of Corruption, and over comes Bin. Wei's just gone.
Flash from Elk because he gets out of the shockwave, the shines. They're playing out ults. Shadow, the Shins are out of the fight for now.
Rookie going to get rooted in place while it's on, finding a lot of good angles with that. Shadow going to get out of the Death Realm just fine. Mako gets a heal, and when it becomes Lightning, looks for an engage onto Mako now. Pop Blossom on 2. Need to flash away Kark because he doesn't have that summoner available. And they pick up another good play from BLG in the mid game.
It is, but IG really shouldn't have taken that fight. Another Q will just land onto Mordecai as a good poke. Does this open up any kind of fight around the tower? No, not really. We literally before this just said, look, IG, you can give up a fight. You don't need the dragon. They choose to take it anyway. Bin does get a good ult because of the huge CC chain between Karma, Varus, and then the Scion coming in. Suppose it's not the worst fight ever for IG. They don't give up everything, but I feel like they just would have been better served just splitting the map, getting farm, give the dragon. You've already got the first one. Don't push your luck, you know. Right here, Wei walked in. It's hit by Comq. Did he not have Q to get out? Suppose not. Chain CC. Actual chains for CC. More CC. More CC. Yeah. Now, the flash was blown onto Varus. That is important. Rookie actually gets a big win for IG there. But yeah, I mean, IG, they lose 2 people out of that play because Mako ended up dying. At the end, it was 2 and a dragon. IG realistically should have just let this go. BLG take the opportunity where it's there. They're great CC chain. And they get themselves onto the board in terms of those objectives and a little bit more gold.
Seeing this trade again is they're going to try and dive on the Shy, and Knight with a clean solo kill. Sticky around a little too long is the Shy.
Yeah, the solo dive. Knight on Galio. We were saying, hey, this guy is one of the best Galios in the world. Gets a great kill onto the Mordekaiser. And the Shy is not getting that many resources. Losing to the Galio in a 1v1. I mean, just Knight things, I guess.
I want to see how on earth he ended up in that position. I wonder whether he didn't reset after that last play and went topside with no HP, got blasted. I'd like to see what the replay was and how he ended up in that position in the first place. Either way, he's not getting a lot of value. 100% KP, having a great game so far.
No, I genuinely think Knight is one of the best Galios in the world. I think there's him. Obviously, players like Faker.
The other 2 best Galio, isn't it?
Well, there's Chovy up there too, who's also fantastic at it. But those are the ones which I think of first and foremost. Knight, last year at Worlds, when people think of, Elk's Kai'Sa 1v3, I have to add an asterisk on there and say, no, it's a 3v2, and Knight is the better one out of him. And Elk, actually, you watch him getting like 3-man taunts into play.
Beautiful.
Double passive resets and stuff like that. Honestly, his Galio, well, not often the main, well, not always the main character. I think often actually is the main character. Definitely not something you can disrespect.
Not going to try and clear out this wave best he can. He's still behind in gold. I do worry a little about damage profiles as the game goes on. Again, if the Galio's ahead, if the Xin Zhao's ahead, they can be the extra damage you need. And that is valuable, don't get me wrong. But I do think there's a point where if your Varus isn't a legit threat, you are in a bit of an awkward spot at 3 items, shall we say.
You don't have great ways to get to the Civet, and that's a problem. The Orianna 2, potential jump onto Shadow, doesn't have, well, he does have flash, does have ult. Here's the Galio ult.
Does get turned around. Shadow now keen to step forward. Can't find the free talent strike knock. But I wonder whether Gala and the rest of IG might see an angle. Chains of Corruption, being the follow-up slow. Pop Blossom doesn't really land on too many people. Wei will blast Cone away, but is still caught on the tether. Shockwave on 2 though. Elk goes down. Wei still healing. Will likely die regardless to Shadow and his Sundered Sky. Rookie trying to threaten on the other side. Mako lowers on, gets some damage back. Can't quite get the kill. The TP's coming on through on low though. As Rookie looks for the auto. Gets a big heal from the renewal. Short comes on through with the shielded around, and Rookie can't get his way out. It ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of BLG.
How BLG get away with that is beyond me. Shadow mispositions and forces an early Galio ult from Knight. He really didn't want to pull it at that point. Shadow tries to re-engage, and I thought realistically IG would just get a clean combo back onto BLG, especially with a flashless Varus. It's quite easy to play around that. Well, all this is happening though. First turret is going to go down to the side of IG. That will get them that feats of strength marker. That's next objective after this Herald. There'll be two apiece on that one. Shy claws ahead slightly in terms of the individual matchup, actually, with that all said and done. Knight, the real hero, that last play, we're just talking big about his Galio. I think we just saw why. End up saving Shadow, end up standing in the door there too. Watching this replay. Initially, Shadow caught out. He's too far forwards. He's not in a safe spot. Karma can't actually help you there. But then watch what happens after this, after the retreat comes through. Shadow tries to use last of his grasping gun. Right here, Knight saves the fight. If he doesn't immediately get the CC onto the 2 bot laners of IG, I think this fight is a lost one. Knight does a great job of making sure the follow-up isn't there. Elk does die. He missed positions, but honestly, the only reason why BLG aren't blasted by the initial Vi Orianna combo is because Knight closes the door.
Also, real shout out to Elk, who managed to CC 2 people to allow Knight to clobber him in the face with the CC. Really good Shades of Corruption on both bot laners, but again dies afterwards. The fact that Rookie then goes to try to save Mako, and does, but comes to the cost of his own life, is kind of rough.
Dragon is spawned. Will IG fight for this one? Again, I feel like the last Dragon, IG should have just given it up. I wonder if they just do the same again. The Shy pushing up in that top side. Galio can wave, play through, but I just don't know if IG are ready to fight right now. Yeah, they're trying to go for the cross map Knight. Pretty hard to kill. Good wave click, and they stop him from getting away from the turret. He has flash.
Charging the Vault Breaker will likely let it settle. Just by missing, just to punch forwards. That's going to be a big shield of Durand taunt. And Knight just gets to walk away. They'll get a decent chunk onto him, delaying this reset. But
Hang on, Knight wins that. Hang on a second, he wins this!
Gets a decent heal, actually turning around pretty well, but the way to wall back, Way gets sorted it!
Knight solo kills Way on Galio. What a player of the champion.
Mako goes looking for the pop blossom, but Elk does manage to back away well. Mako now low, decimating smash. It's only a slow, but the Rookie over the wall with the shockwave does manage to delay the follow-up, but the Herald into the mid lane will claim that turret, and now they're driving towards this bot lane tier 1. I don't know whether it'll quite have enough charge. Gonna be closer to his range.
Nice charge. Good drive in there from On. Knight, hero plays on the Galio. Genuinely been so impressive on it so far.
Got 10 stacks.
Yeah, and he needs to. Honestly, if it is just the Varus in terms of a damage threat, playing a single damage comp versus a Vi is horrible. It's the same with the Mordekaiser. He can just pull you out of the team comp and you die. Knight, spaces Wade, gets himself the huge combo, gets the double passive reset on there too. Oh, well, yes, he does. He doesn't follow a second passive. But, typically when you have, the first item, Conqueror stacking Vi, things get really nasty. Knight just wanted to make sure he could flash out of like a low-range Q. Kind of loses the mind game there, but wins just because the winds of war come through. 10-stack Dark Seal. Way outplayed by Knight.
Wade could have just gone over the wall, by the way.
He could have done, but he wanted to get the kill. He wanted to get that kill. I thought it was
Sun Sky nearly did it, to be fair. I got a little bit, there was a very surprising initial burst of healing there.
Yeah, now we have Shadow. 5 kills on the Shinzao on the other side of it. Way falling behind. If the Vi falls too far behind, it's a big issue because you're diving in and you're dying before you get the necessary damage down onto someone like that Varus. And we've seen that actually, you're going to get towards a Rift Maker quite early because the extra gold given over towards Knight. That he can just walk up and take the tower itself, by the way. He'll smash that with a passive. The Shy might just die here.
Does have that ability to drag someone into the death realm, yet to do so.
He has
just done it. Just can't see the markers on the ground, which I was looking for. Decent damage onto Shadow. We'll kind of get a decent shield with the Indestructible, but it's a 4v1. And you don't win those as the Mordekaiser right now.
IG are pushing in the mid lane. They're trying to get something onto this tower. They really want to take this down. They're using the clone to tank the turret, and Bennett has to flash away. He doesn't get to defend that turret the way that he would have wanted to. Push onto the top lane in a turret, though, from BLG. So they'll be able to likely get that. IG trying to cross-map as best they can. Falling behind a significant amount of gold, though. Will be probably 4,000 by the time this tower falls.
They're going to try and trade for the bot tier 2 on the other side, though. They've got all their members down there. They're going to try and reset now themselves. I don't know that it'll be enough to save this one. They're going to try and interrupt Bin. Don't do so quite yet. He was doing a decent job of holding this wave. They're going to try to get a decent jump back. There's the shockwave. Bin going to need to try and find an ult out. Will not do so. Clone.
Oh,
it's not there. The hero's entrance in, and Gala gets to survive for now. Can Knight find an angle? Is there any other ways to get onto them? Those not. They get kill on Bin, but don't get the tier 2 turret. And Knight burns his ultimate. Will it be up in time for something like an Atakan?
Well, the problem is IG, because Gala gets so low, needs to back all the way off, which means he's not there for the fight. I wonder actually now whether IG have to give up Atakan. Way's going to stick around here because he knows that, look, Gala has to reset. That's a big problem. Save that, actually. Gala finally gets his reset off. Knight gets blocked by the clone of the Nico.
Trying to look for the shield around tool. Does get it onto Rookie. I think it might mean Shadow is there, but he gets a flash out of the wind, becomes lightning, and they will have
Way
to pull
is
off the
still
Atakan.
behind the Varus. He's still behind them. Did he see that ward go down? He should probably know that's there. Gala's back out onto the map. Teleporting from the Scion. Way is really behind enemy lines. He's not the strongest fight ever. They didn't see him again, but no Atakan's up. Do they look for the fight? Rookie, no teleport. He had to back too, remember?
He did indeed. What can they do here about this potential angle? They don't know where Way is. On now on vision. Good vision toggle showing exactly what IG know and don't. Gala now looking for an angle, can make sure that people go on the hunt. Bin on a flank angle. Mako gets jumped on. Way still here, yet to reveal himself. Charging the Vault Breaker, looking to get into the backside. They Pop Blossom after! Invictus Gaming, good damage. Knight just about surviving now. They're still indestructible. Simmer gets a double. Way with a wonderful Rambo play. You could not ask for better. Andor approves. The Death Star of BLG blown up by insurgent operatives. Elk to the turret. Boomerang play gets Gala. Another.
BLG have Shadow. IG have Fog of Way. He comes out of the darkness and IG slam home a quadruple shockwave to end the fight.
It is spectacular. They just didn't expect Wei still to be there. He was resetting and saw the teleport come in and went, wait, they're actually doing it. They get the tier 2 after, and Billy Gaming think they have an angle for Atakan. They really don't.
Fog of War is IG's greatest friend here. They do not see it coming. They think they have a great catch onto the back line, and it comes in way too late. They just don't expect it, and the Shockwave will find 4 of them. The Shy gets into the mess of it too, passive onto everyone. The ricochets go absolutely mad. And then Wei even gets to chase down for the remaining kills, misses that. What a ridiculous combo. IG, one of the most entertaining, wonderful teams in the world.
And they are just such extravagant team fighters. They're an extravagant team for better and for worse. But when it looks good, it looks so damn good. Back to live in Dragon is up.
Dragon is up. The IG have the gold lead now. Watch for that Shockwave. A lot of summoners down on both sides after that last Atakan fight.
Gala's got a 3k lead, by the way. He's got Infinity Edge. Now Completely Gala is in danger, though. Tries to go on the hunt. Pop blossom back. The Hero's entrance. Gala just about left for a second. No! Knight absolutely eviscerates. The Shockwave is good. Over the wall goes Wei. And they lose. Oh, gonna go and get the kill though with the obliterate. Crystal going to the death realm. They're gonna play it. Maybe it was all deliberate. The Shy, good healing, but it's not enough. Knight gets pulled back by the death guard. He's down low, has to flash away the shield from the side of the Karma. Keeps Knight in one piece. They can't do the dragon anymore. Oh my god, they saw another one.
Hang on, wait. Can you stick around for anything here? BLG, if they get this, they get themselves the 3rd dragon. IG lose a big fight here. They took the Atakan just before. Make no mistake, they're still ahead of this game compared to they were a minute ago. But giving that 3rd dragon over the BLG, that's a threat now. That's a threat. God, I love watching these teams play. As a BLG fan, it has been a difficult year to watch them. As an IG fan on the other side, I mean, kind of both about the place too.
I know.
Yeah, but BLG, dude, can they force a game 3? I mean, it's so hard to fight against. I mean, there's Oriana now at Blackfire and Void Staff is actually very, very damaging. Knight's the one that's a little ahead of them. Shadow gets a great angle, and CC chain follows after. There's no flash on that, and I do wonder whether Mako should have given his life to make sure that Gala could not get hit by that Scion ultimate. Didn't happen to do so.
Shy sees. He's the one who goes in. He sees the angle.
He wants to kill the smite, and he does, in fairness to him. What happens to his ult afterwards?
Because did he use it on Shadow, and so comes back out of him?
I guess he must have done. I didn't see the icon next to him, but if he managed to kill Shadow and then get the Realm of Death, Realm of Death after, I wonder whether they could even walk away with a winning fight there. Worth note. Oh my god, I just realized this, folks. 3,000 gold lead for Gala now. Yeah, I was not paying enough attention to that. We are now at the point where BLG lose if they don't kill Gala. That last fight is even more important. That in mind. BLG, they have a little bit of time now where Gala still does not have his flash. They need to find his way on the way onto him again. They don't have a great amount of target access onto the Civis. Finding it in that last play was a godsend for them. They'll have to do it again.
Reminder how he got that. He came into the Dragon fight with an Infinity Edge to his name. And basically got a triple kill at the Atakan fight. So much value. And they're now also, by the way, 30 petals up, which is a lot of extra stats.
With the Atakan, I'd say it's about 1.5k per 10. So that's about 4.5k not shown in the gold at the top. Now, if BLG get Infernal Soul, that's a hell of a lot of gold over to them too. And they also have the Feats of Strength. That's extra value there. So bits of kind of intangibles going both ways. We are into the point where late game team fighting execution will solve things now. There's no flash on Elk, which is important. Doesn't have Edge of Night either. Perhaps thinks it's a little decorative versus the Vi with the Smite, but still we shall see. Fight around the Fog of War. Shadow walking in.
Ball threat is very scary. Rookie's found some wonderful shockwaves this game. He's going to have to flash away though from Shadow, who's a damn scary threat in his own right. Body blocked by the clone. TP now back in.
Do they see that on Vision? Elk should fire the ult. There it is. Shadow coming through.
Is it going to matter? Because the Shy still looks to be very damn scary. Bin's going to have to flash. He eats so much damage because Gala is ricocheting through them. Wei looking for potential cease and desist angle, but it means Knight's not here. Can look to rejoin with a hero's entrance theoretically.
There's so much damage to them. Bin doesn't have ult. He'll have to teleport in. I think IG see an angle to go towards the Baron. If Shadow goes towards it, the Shy can ult him and pull him out into the Realm of Death. IG playing the Death Bush, but they're going to be on Vision. They should know that now. Ult onto Galio. That's a bit farther away.
Trying to find the angle. Shadow's still around, and Wei kind of oversteps on that one. Going to get the root there with the focused resolve. Big obliterate back, though. Chunks out on.
How IG not able to play around the vision control that well. They actually did ping out that ward afterwards. You can see the red little thing around it. IG, that could have been a game-ending sequence of events because they got such a good chunk onto BLG. Had an option to go towards that Baron. If they got it on that timing, they control the map before the next dragon. That was potentially huge.
you speak about it, everyone's pinging the Scuttlecraft. They want it so bad because vision control coming into this soul point fight, or the soul fight rather, is going to be massive. Waves on it first, should be able to smite it down, and does so. Needs to get out of here, though.
And they'll also spot one of the wards in their own jungle. There's a control ward there behind enemy lines from BLG. That'll be taken, and they won't have any kind of flanking vision from that point. Occasionally the Galio can use that, although often he's kind of fighting down the front to back in this one. Elk close towards his third item. He's still 3,000 gold down. Gala has Last Whisper. Invictus Gaming, a super team built out of pieces of their old championship roster. The Shy rookie returning in glory to Invictus Gaming. Well, it wasn't at first though, was it? First split, things went poorly for them out in the, first round of playoffs. There you go. Went through later, a little bit better in the last split. Reached top 4. Couldn't get themselves to MSI. This time, could be finishing regular season top 2. Can Invictus Gaming get back to the World Championship? I won't say they'll do it until they do it. They don't deserve that kind of curse. Same for Rookie. Hasn't been back to World since, what, 2019?
No.
IG, this could be the start of something special for them. In fact, it's not even the start. It's a little bit further in that. A whole year of toil, of growth. IG, a super team, trying to deliver on a hefty promise.
Is 40 seconds on Soul. IG are the ones in command of the river. The ones largely in command of those entrances into it right now as well. Reset, not interrupted. If that Death Grasp had landed, I think it could have been a flash blown at the very least.
The Shy has the second item now. He's actually ahead of Bin, and I think the Shy with Flash and Ultimate is such a crucial threat which you need to keep an eye on. You can take the Varus out of the play, potentially you can take the Galio out of the play. Of course, most importantly is that smite around the objectives. They'll be spotted heading down here, and they're not, I don't think they know that they're spotted. Now, there's going to be some wards coming through into that mid lane. Knight will now see them there. Who knows what the other team knows? Maker, my dude, you got to be so careful. Don't split too far.
The Shy looking for the Death Grasp angle, gets away with it. And Mako has largely played this game relatively convincingly.
Knight's playing on the off angle. Some arrows landing from Elk. The poke's not that strong, though, because the Varus has been shut down an awful lot. Gala, his Qs are actually very good. Poke on the other side. Knight, trying to see some vision. Not seen right now. Control will play it out. Knight into the backline, potentially.
Looks for the Death Grasp, pull onto Shadow, drags him into the Death Realm so he can't smite. Nice angle from the Shy, good value on that one. Shadow desperately trying to play out in the blitz, does just get out alive to be able to flash to safety. Mako, nice! Knight gets the backside, Mako over the wall, can't pop blossom, but everyone's trapped to the pit, and the Shy is a menace, looking to show exactly why he was Atakan's master. Gala throwing out all the ricochets, where's the damage he's been after? And they'll make a Metallica reference out of this one as Knight goes golden, but unfortunately for him, only the memory remains. A quadra kill for Gala.
Gala, the Prince of Pentas, won't get his 5th. He's too preoccupied pushing mid lane. But IG go late, and they will win again. You have to feel they deny that dragon. On flashing away will save his life. The Baron will go to IG. The dragon will deny the soul from BLG yet again. And despite Knight with a triple knockup, they cannot get themselves the smite because of the Shy with the ults.
Shadow just about got out of the pit down well alive afterwards. The ult timed out just in time. Wasn't in the end enough, and IG immediately pounce on the Baron. It has been a riveting series. Both teams have been throwing haymakers at each other. But this, I think, may have broken it in Invictus Gaming's favor.
The Shadow goes too close to the Shy. He goes too close to him. It's a mistake from him. Knight realizes, okay, I can't go into the front line alone. I need to wait for Shadow to come back out. And he does end up getting a great combo into the back line with Bin. The solo laners get a triple knockup onto the back line, which even, separates away the Shy from the rest of his team. But they don't have a damaging AD carry. Gala is so much DPS. Some of the solo lane plays have been great, but Gala has been so much better than Elk in this game. And of course, let's be honest, he's just had way more resources than Elk in this game. Gala on the Sivir is a force unleashed.
We said it in draft. We said, look, what happens if Elk keeps dying, if Elk is put behind it? In fairness to BLG, Shadow, Knight in particular have bound some really excellent amounts of damage. Ooh. The corruption just wide. I was about to say on as well on this Karma has been really obnoxious with those tethers. But they just don't have the damage in the extended plays versus a 4.5 item Sivir.
I'm also really, really worried now about what happens when Wei gets GA, because at that point, he gets to jump in. Someone else is taken out of the fight by the Mordekaiser if you want, and the fights are so hard to avoid. Your Varus does not have flash, and sadly for Elk, this has not been his split. He has had occasional moments of brilliance, but they've not been as frequent as they were before. I think particularly in late game, he has struggled. Wei could potentially go forwards with the ultimate, and will smite off the spell shield from the edge of Knight. Takes a bit of damage there. IG getting good value out of the Baron right now, pushing in mid lane and top lane. Bin trying to wave clear where he can, but he doesn't win the matchup versus the Mordekaiser for now. Can at least try and wave clear.
Just that. Again, Finn. Not really been all that impactful on the side. There's been moments or two there. Managed to get the backside
The
there.
ult.
Try and ult forwards. There's Knight getting the taunt afterwards. The Shy swift enough to bring someone to the realm of death. It's Finn who's in there. Turret now under siege. Way on a flank angle here as well, threatening the death scratch just wide.
So ult for ult on the top lane. I think it's, I don't know, you kind of need that Scion ult in some ways, but the Mordekaiser ult gets a better HP trade, goes on to the Karma.
Ooh, good damage back, but Way is dead!
Just gets blasted, does not have the GA just yet. Now the Shy, no flash, he might be caught in the bad play.
Knight goes golden. They will lose the Shy protect, but the Indestructible buys a lot of time. They will kill off the Galio, but so much was burned to make this happen. Gala's got a GA. Pop Blossom just wide. GA is broken though. On. Can look for the angle. Shockwave buys that full spin out of the decimated but Gala can't get enough damage down.
IG lose 4 in the fight. Only Knight falls to BLG, and IG will have to look again. Way, a poor player in the late game from him there. Sees him dying for nothing. Gala goes back and completes his full build. A minute till Dragon. IG give a lot back to BLG there, though. The next fight, I think Elk might just have his flashback up too. BLG, perhaps they see the angle now. The late game, been their demon. This split. Can they quash it here?
Well, again, because Way sees about to go. You could just go over the wall. You didn't have to do this twice this game. Way's looked for this and immediately gets blasted for his decision.
I think if he presses the ult a little earlier, he can end up getting away with that, but he gets CC'd. You can't cast that ult while you're rooted. Fire Assault, and huge value. That came through. Should have been a dead Karma. Potentially a free kill after that point. Of course, Knight dies on the other side, but hey ho, someone's got to die for the plate.
The Crescent Guard knocked Mako out of the Pop Blossom, which may well have saved Gala.
Gala's end up losing his GA from this too. The Shockwave buys some time for Gala. Not enough to save him. Finn takes a lot of damage, not quite enough there. Shockwave, Rookie just about getting away from that.
Cleanse burned there. And they're going to try and turn this around. Rookie's gone! It's Varus that picks him up. Elk, despite the discrepancy, getting a key kill. Flash away from Way, does have a GA, getting out to safety. It's 90 seconds on this Dragon. I think Soul might be BLG's.
I think it might be. Way needs to escape. Where is Gala? Gala needs to get DPSing now. BLG, they're split. Can they find anything more than this? Is a GA Vial coming through. Where is Gala's damage? He failed flashes!
Oh, Gala, no!
Way has his GA, but he'll die. Gala, oh Gala, the late game was yours.
The Shy
will kill Elk, but I don't know if it's enough.
On's going to take a lot of damage for it. They're going to try and get some value. He's got Indestructible shield. Darkness is rising all about him. And with the Bloodlines goes through quite a lot of work, will finally go down, I think. But look at the rest of the damage. Gala can still do some work. Mako, look at the Pop Blossom. On with the shield. Not enough damage on Mako. Needs to think about Rocket belting out Gala. Try to take the Dragon. It's taking right blade. There was no spy on Shadow. GA's going to get popped. Teleporting in. Gala needs to run away. Ben will come off of the unstoppable onslaught. Gala goes down.
BLG versus Invictus Gaming is absolute cinema. The Dragon goes to IG, but I don't know if they can save the game with so many death timers down. Rookie was caught out by the Shy in the river, flashes poorly, still gets hit by the W, and it means that the mark is available, then doesn't walk back out of range. Rookie, huge mistake in the late game. Gala similar with the fail flash after. We thought IG were the ones that were better at late game, but they just fumble an absolute easy hand we thought that they'd had.
Now the goal remains near enough even. Both teams at some point, and I don't know where we go from here.
BLG, theoretically at this point in the game, it's harder, but they've got a lot of bruiser frontlines, a lot of CC, and the fact that this Shinzao is 10 kills deep for Shadow makes him that extra threat onto the squishy members. Way is struggling here, especially with the GA. He had a good early game, but things have fallen away as it's gone a little later.
I just can't believe that Gala ended up getting the Dragon through that Shadow.
That's incredible.
They must have called out that he used the smite mid-fight and thought, well, fuck it.
Rush it.
But you can rush it. You're a full build AD carry. Now, the problem is Gala does not have flash because he failed flashed. And
this is Elk all day.
Yeah, but I think that Elk dying doesn't actually... Weirdly, Elk dying does not cost BLG fights. Gala dying does.
Have you seen the Shy's third item?
Oh, Hexblade! Damn! Well, it gives you move speed and attack speed, which is kind of big. Gives you the lower ult cooldown, and now worth noting that there is an AD scaling on his Q now as well, slightly, so it's not actually an awful item. I think it gives you some value here, gives some good HP as well. Shadow hanging out in Fog of War, we spotted there. Baron is alive, Mako not hit by that W. Karma shields causing some threat there.
Gala gets John good spell shield, denies the ult. The Shy goes forward, gets the death down. Shadow's trapped within it. He needs to restore the darkness again. Rises. Audacious charge into the backside. It's Way who gets out there as entrance, and they've blown up Elk. Roadkill. Simmer with a triple. The Prince of Pentas hunts for another. Knight goes golden. and surely a quadra kill. Perhaps even more as On must run for the hills, and I think Gala would rather 2 quadras and a game win.
Gala with a rare smile on his face. On pulling Armar in, trying to kill the wave before it can get in there. A teleport from the Shy will protect the minions, and On will not be able to recreate that 2015 semi-final. The Shy able to protect the minions. This should be game. How much damage can they do? Gala shreds through towers, and they have 2 grubs.
They will surely disintegrate the wave and do so. A 6,000 individual lead to the Civet. We said the scaling issue may come into play. It certainly did. The ricochet.
He climbs the wave!
Does it matter? Does it matter? They've got another wave coming on in. They're taking too much damage. What about the respawns? 15 seconds on the likes of Nymaera. Elk will be up. Bin will be up. Is it enough? Arn can't get the root. Elk will give him more. They've killed off Way. Gala got a GA. He can't do it. He can't do it.
The instant death realm! He's using the ultimate! The Nexus!
The Shy with a Death Realm Nexus kill.
The Shy